All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Madrid. We're here. First match of the tournament, or one of the first matches of the tournament, day one. And, yeah, we got Venus playing, who hasn't played on clay, or at least hasn't played in Madrid for a couple years. Yeah, she hasn't played much in the last few years, but she has played a lot this year. She's been playing a lot of the big tournaments. And that makes you think, is she playing all the big tournaments one final time, or is she just getting back into it, wanting to play more and more tennis? Because that's could go either way. Venus could play for another 5 years, 10 years. I mean, who knows? She'll play until she wants to. But she's taken on the Spanish wild card. She's also a wild card, Venus. Wild card Quevedo. I'm going to go with that. That's my Spanish pronunciation. I'm going with that. Winner of this plays Baptiste in the next round. So, yeah, we've had a few matches already today. Qualifiers haven't been set yet, but it's first round of ladies. A lot of players already played and won. Badosa just went down 6-0 in the third, which is a little bit disappointing. To Grabber, Sigamund got through earlier. Monero destroyed a Dajmaya. Yeah. And the qualifiers are almost complete. There's still a few qualies going on. And then once that's done, we'll know who's playing who. Tomorrow, the men start, and the second part of the first round will be underway as well. So it's a big day tomorrow as well. But how are we doing, chat? What's going on? 4 years since she last played on clay? Yeah, something like that. Have a look. Let me have a look. Yeah, so she played. Look, she's on a losing streak. She hasn't won a match for a while, Venus, but that's besides the point. Hasn't played clay since Roland Garros 2021, where she lost to Alexandra Eala. Hasn't won a match on clay since she beat Mertens in Rome in 2019. So it's been a long time since she's got a win on this surface, and a long time since she has played on this surface too. So it's been almost 5 years since she played. Played here against Brady in 2021, lost in the first round, or second round, because Brady was in 2021 was very, very highly seeded. But yeah, Venus the underdog as well, which is a little bit not really that surprising, considering the record on clay and the record in general. So let's see if she can finally get a win. She hasn't had a win since Washington last year as well. Yeah, her record on clay has not been the best anyway. It's not been her favorite surface over her career anyway. She has won a couple of clay titles. She won Hamburg, Rome, Charleston. She won Acapulco when it was on the clay for the ladies back in the late 2000s. She has won, made the final in Madrid back in 2010. She lost to Rizé, who I think was a massive underdog, or it was a massive surprise at the time. So, yeah, it's not been her best surface, but Venus has had wins on every surface. So, it's not like clay's been completely absent from her resume. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see if she can do something. Looks kind of cold out there too. Doesn't look like good weather at all. But luckily we've got a roof if we need it. But how are we doing, chap? Top half of the ladies play on second round on Thursday. Yeah, so Sabalenka on Thursday. Who else playing Thursday? Yeah, so we'll get Sabalenka Thursday. We'll get Osaka on Thursday. Swiatek's playing Thursday. Andreeva's playing Thursday if it's top half of the draw. So yeah. So that is that. Yeah, Osorio is playing. She's playing. Is she playing today? Maybe she's playing later. Also scheduled for tomorrow. Also came out. All right, Venus walking out first. Yeah, so the schedule for tomorrow, Berrettini's playing, Hodar is playing, Hurkacz is playing, Cilic is playing. On the men's side, on the ladies' side, we've got Eala playing tomorrow, Pliškova's playing tomorrow. So there are options. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many matches we're watching tomorrow, but we're definitely watching matches, obviously. Yeah, it sucks that Berrettini and Eala are playing at the same time. I wanted to watch both of them tomorrow, but they're playing at the same time, so we'll see what we do. Did I hear Carlos is in a cast? Yeah, Carlos is in all sorts of trouble. Hopefully he's not completely unable to play the rest of the clay season. 4 years since last clay game, if I'm not correct. Yeah. All right, here we go. There is a crowd there, but it's not crazy. Not like a crazy big crowd. It's on a Tuesday, first round. These 2-week Masters always get a little bit of time. Take a little bit of time to get going. Anisimova has withdrawn with a wrist injury. Yeah. So Anisimova's withdrawn. Draper withdrew from Rome as well. So he's all sorts of trouble. Who else withdrew? Somebody else withdrew after the draw came out. I can't remember. Draper pulled out. Alexandrova. Alexandrova also pulled out yesterday. So God, the withdrawal list in Madrid is huge. So many people not playing. It's crazy. All right. Here we go. They're going to get a photo together. Venus just... Oh, that is classic. They're like, all right, you're going to get a photo. She just puts her hand on her hip and poses for it. That's so good. Oh, never change. Venus like, oh, we're taking photos, are we? All right, let me just hand on hip and let me just look into the camera. All right, it's going to be a good photo. None of this like smile with your arm around each other. Let's just like, let's get a real photo. That was strike a pose for sure. Love that. It's classic. Oh, man. By the way, we can talk about AW Fantasy as well. You got less than 24 hours to get your teams in, so make sure if you are trying to do your teams, you got to figure it out. I was going to just wipe my team, but I'm kind of... I don't know. I'm in two minds. I think I might not wipe my team until next week. I'll make the wipeage decision next week. But I'm kind of stuck between Cerundolo and Ruud. I looked at Ruud training footage and he looks all right, Ruud. He doesn't look hurt, but he's also not been playing well in Madrid over his career. He played well last year, and that was an anomaly. Cerundolo, Ruud. I might have to flip a coin, chat. Give me some advice. Should I get Cerundolo or should I get Ruud? I have 3 free switches. Oh, that would have been such a good idea. To save a switch would have been so smart. So we'll wipe my whole team next week. Yeah. I'm like, well, I was going to wipe my whole team this week. But then I'm like, my whole team's playing though. So I don't really want to, because like some players might play this week and then take Rome off next week if they're tired. And I'm also like, Zverev's got, even though he's been playing a lot of tennis and he looked a little tired last week, he is still got a very good draw. I'm like, well, do I get rid of him? Even though yesterday I was saying I have to get rid of Zverev, I don't trust him. I'm also like, but he's got a decent draw. And I'll feel like shit if he makes the semis and I kicked him out for no reason. I'm like, ugh. Next week, if Alcaraz ever comes back, if he comes back next week, then obviously Zverev gets the boot. I might give Zverev one more week. Yeah. No, I'm worried. Yeah, I'm keeping Zverev too because I'm like, if I get rid of him for like Musetti and Zverev makes the semis, I might hold on to him for one more week. Next week, I'll get rid of Zverev, depending on Alcaraz. Because Zverev's, I mean, yeah, he might be tired, but he's also consistent. I just couldn't. I just, yeah. But I'm stuck between Cerundolo and Rude. They're both the same price too. But I looked at the records in Madrid, and even though he won the title last year, Rude, he hasn't had he never really played well here. Whereas Cerundolo has been consistently, he made the semis last year, made the quarters the year before. Cerundolo has been better here. And they've both got like a decent draw. It's tough. And then maybe I'll just rage wipe my team next week if they all do shit. If they all do bad this week, I can just rage wipe. That's what I'm thinking. That sounds like I'm doing something else. That's rage wipe sounds something else. It's not. It's talking about my team. I'll just like restart my team next week out of anger if they all do bad this week. That might be my strategy. Instead of like changing all my team now and going, oh, they all sucked, and then next week being like, now I have to deal with this terrible team. Maybe I would just like hold on to that until next week and then just go, you know what? For Rome, we are starting fresh. Everybody's out. Goodbye. Get me Musetti, get me Rude, keep Sinner, get rid of Zverev. But Zverev has been so consistent, I can't even. He hasn't given me a reason to get rid of him. It's hard to drop someone when they've been good. He's been consistent. You can't ask for much more than that. And even though FAA has a good draw, it might be too good. No Sinner for you? That's crazy. Not getting Sinner this week is crazy. Like, unless you can't afford him, but not getting Sinner this week seems like it's almost like you're trying to sabotage your own team if you don't get Sinner. Sinner will be picked by 95% of teams, and the 5% of teams that he doesn't appear in are the people that gave up after 1 week. Speaking of giving up after 1 week, why is Dominic Thiem not updating his team every week? I thought he was going to be an ambassador for this thing, and he hasn't even appeared. Dominic Thiem was like, hey, make a team, everyone, and then he literally disappeared. Where is Dominic Thiem? He was supposed to be the king of this fantasy kit team, and he's completely left the conversation. He like, hello, yeah, everybody else play, bye. Hello, Dommy. Where's your team look like, Dommy? Where's your team, Dommy? Come on, Dommy. Where's your team? You're supposed to be the expert. Help us. He just set and forget. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick all these players that got injured. Anyways. Quevedo hits it in the net on the return. It's 15-love Venus. I'm going to go Venus because I'm sentimental. Venus in 3. This is going to be a long match, I reckon. Can I ask the coach to look at mine? Nah, Dominic Thiem disappeared, though. He doesn't even do anything. He completely... He stopped making teams. But that's good for all of us, because then a lot of people have disappeared. So it makes it easier for us to win prizes. 15-love. As Venus serves again. Into the forehand of Quevedo. Venus backhand into the Quevedo forehand as Venus on the stretch for the forehand goes long, and it's 15-all. Going with FAA and Rude in your team, okay. What's your Dutchie? I can take a look at your team if you want. Well, I can't actually look at your team because it was from last week, but all right, 15:30. Venus makes another error. So, Dutchie, who have you got rid of? What's your team look like now? Team can't be watched until deadline. Yeah, I know that, but like we can talk about teams now. This is probably the last opportunity we're going to have to talk about ATP fantasy teams before it's locked in, because it locks in tomorrow. Oh, no, you got a good team. I mean, I put Vachereau on instead of. I mean, I put Vachereau on the. I'd be putting Vachereau and Rinderknecht on the court, to be honest. Remember, Hodar and Demon and Fonseca are all in the same area, so you don't want to have all of them on the field because they're all going to play each other. Especially Hodar, Demon, you don't want to have them both on because it's going to be friendly fire because they're next to each other in the draw. So, I mean, maybe bench whoever you think's going to win that match. Bench the other guy. I'd be probably benching Demon because Hodar probably beats Demon and then put Vachereau on, maybe. And then you got Fonseca too, though. And so everyone's kind of stuck. 40-30. Venus first game of this match. Dude, play-by-play. Go Q. I need food. I bet on Q. Oh, that's why you're complaining about me doing it. You come in here and bet on tennis and then tell me to do my job. Relax, buddy. Why don't you use that money to get WTA TV so you can watch this match and not pester me all the time? Hey? How's that sound? Instead of betting $10, get $10 and watch this match. You can get it for, I think it's like $10 a month, mate. Instead of coming in here and busting my chops, tell me how to do my job. Relax. 40-30. As Venus on the stretch hits in the net and it's deuce. I'm thinking of using my alternates chip this week and having all 8 play. I'm thinking that too, because you've got to use it eventually, right? And I know what I'm doing for the French Open. If Alcaraz doesn't play the next couple of weeks, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be tough. If Alcaraz doesn't play Roland Garros, that's going to make... I mean, everyone's going to have Sinner, and then what? Then who? You know? All right. Venus serving it. Deuce, first game, 5 minutes already. I think Feast will beat Vachereau. Well, I got Feast in my team, so that's all that I care about. Feast is in my team. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Cerundolo instead of Rude, and then if that doesn't work out, if I make a big mistake and it turns out that Rude does better, then next week I'm going to rage swap everybody, start again, and then get Rude in, and get Musetti, and get Sinner, and then get a bunch of like cheap one, like get someone like a City Pass or something who's really, really cheap. Anyways, advantage Quevedo. Advantage of the Spanish player who's wildcard. Great serve, Venus out wide. The return goes out and we get back to deuce. I'm pretty sure you can only use one chip each week. You can't use 2 in 1 week. I don't think you can use 2. You don't have to use them if you don't want to, but yeah. Can I get Rafa for Roland Garros? I'll tell you, there might be an actual case to get Djokovic for Roland Garros, but As a return goes wide by Quevedo, and it's advantage Venus. Like getting Djokovic for Roland Garros, I mean, if Alcaraz isn't playing, it might not be a bad idea. If Alcaraz isn't playing, though, you just get Sinner and Zverev, right? If Alcaraz doesn't play Roland Garros, Zverev might win a slam. He just has to figure out how to play Sinner and beat Sinner again. But okay, and I love Alcaraz, we all do. But let's just play this for a game for a second. As Venus serves the second serve. Yeah, for Roland Garros, you're going to use one of the chips. Either triple bonus or alternates, yeah. You can't use both. As a four now from Venus, cross court, goes long, and we're back to deuce. If Alcaraz doesn't play Roland Garros, then... and Sinner and Zverev play in the final... What if Djokovic and Sinner play in the semis, winner plays Zverev? If Djokovic or Sinner is trying to win Roland Garros and try and be 25 slams or complete the career Grand Slam, Zverev might have a really good chance of winning because the pressure is so much on his opponent. And yeah, okay, Zverev's pressure of winning one slam, but I don't know. I feel like if Alcaraz doesn't play the French, it's Zverev has got a massive chance of winning a slam. Like that's and if Djokovic gets put in Sinner's half, that would be a huge. Like it might even be worth putting $5 on Zverev. Why? Like just in case, why not? All right, advantage Venus to get this first game. It's been a marathon game already. As with a forehand now from Venus into the backhand of Quevedo. Backhand from Venus, the forehand of Quevedo. Venus on the stretch with a slice. Goes long. Back to deuce. He'll find a way to lose. Nah. Got to keep get optimistic. It's 2026. We've got to be more optimistic. Instead of being like, he'll never win a slam. Let's just all try and be optimistic and try and figure out when he's going to win a slam. That's more fun. It's much more fun to use our brains and think about when will he win a slam rather than just being like, well, he's never going to win one and then just say exactly what everybody else is saying, right? It's way more mentally challenging to use your brain and try and think of, okay, well, if Zverev is going to win one, where is it? When's it going to be? How's it going to happen? That way, you're using your brain, and your brain's going, firing on all cylinders, and you're actually doing some thinking and things are. Whereas the boring, easy, dumb answer is just well, you never win one, and then just then you just go watch some AI slot videos and scroll on Instagram or TikTok, just go back to doing nothing. More fun if you say Zverev's going to win a slam and then try and figure out how. As that goes wide by Quevedo and it's back to deuce. Zverev lost the semifinals of the AO when all the pressure was on Alcaraz chasing career Grand Slam. Yeah, but he only just lost it. But what if Djokovic and Sinner play this epic 5-hour match, and then the winner plays Zverev in the final, and then Sinner wins against Djokovic in 5 hours, and then has to play Zverev again the next day or 2 days later, and it's a hot day, and Zverev's coming off a 3-setter. Could that be a thing? Maybe. We're going to wait to see what Alcaraz does first, because none of this even should be. The only way any of this happens is if Alcaraz doesn't play the French. If Alcaraz plays the French, then Zverev's going to play one of them, right? And then none of this makes sense. But if Alcaraz is hurt and doesn't play Roland Garros, then what? How could Zverev win the French? Because I don't think he can win it if they're both playing. As Venus survives again, back to deuce. Because he can't beat Sinner right now, and beating Alcaraz at Roland Garros in the semis or final most likely the semis, right? That's going to be tricky. Unless Alcaraz is not 100% fit. All right, first serve, fault, second serve. Eala's playing tomorrow, I think. She's on the schedule for tomorrow. Second serve, Venus. Back to deuce, 6th deuce. 12-minute game to start this match. We're going to be here a while. Venus in the net. Advantage, Quevedo. To get the break first game. Advantage, Quevedo. Are the seeds playing tomorrow? No. I think it's purely first round. And then seeds play on Thursday. I'm pretty sure. First serve, fault, second serve. By the way, chat, I've got to admit that I've been a little bit of a gatekeeper. But I'll tell you why a little bit later. And I'm reluctant because I'm gatekeeping because I want to win. But I'll maybe later after this match, as Quevedo gets the break. First game. All right. Quevedo gets the break. Remind me at the end of the stream what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was a long game to start this match. So they're showing Venus's clay court record. She has 9 titles on clay. She's won 169 matches on the clay. Again, not her best surface, not her favorite court, but a very capable clay court player over the years. Someone's going to retire from exhaustion at this rate? Yeah, us. All right. Quevedo's got the break. Also, is this her first tour level match? I mean, what a crazy debut to the WTA if that's the case. Because I've never heard of her before. Is this her first ever WTA match? She's 20 years old. She was born on the 13th of Feb. She's from Spain. She was born in Florida, USA, but representing Spain. She was born in Florida. She started playing for Spain this year. 2 years ago. She did win the Clay Court Championships Under-16s USTA event back in 2021. She was a top 5 ranked junior as well. Made her WTA main draw debut as a qualifier in Auckland this year and defeated Peyton Stearns. So she's already played a main draw WTA match. First time playing at home, or at least in front of her the home crowd. She has done well on clay previously. Last year she made 4 finals of ITF events, and she won a couple of those, and they were on clay, including one in Spain. Let me have a look what her junior record was, and let's see if she's played anybody that we know, because she's 20 years old, so she would be in that generation with Andreeva, those type of players, on Boko. Who else? Plenty of other players that are all in that. I can't remember their names. And if she was a top 5 junior player, then she would have made some runs at some Grand Slams. 40-15. So So yeah, so she has won some junior matchups against players such as Valentova. She played Valentova back at the US Open Juniors in 23. She took on who else did she take on? Jovic. She actually lost to Jovic in a final in Ecuador a couple of years ago in juniors. Very windy out there, by the way. She also lost to Emerson Jones in a tournament in Japan in 2023. Jones being one of the best juniors currently, or at least for the last few years. As with a 4-4 rally. And Venus hits it long. Quevedo has a 2-love lead to start this match. Lost to Maya Joint in an American event back in the clay courts back in 22. She won a J1 event in Guadalajara back in 2022 on the clay. She did play on Boko back at the US Open Juniors 2022. Ended up losing to her in the first round. But did play on Boko in the juniors back then. Anyone else we know? Any other names I can remember? Any other familiar sightings? No. I think she might have been a junior, American junior. Did she play for America in juniors? I'm not sure. I have to double check. All right, 15 love. So yeah, so the juniors, so the 2022 US Open Juniors where Eala got the win. She beat on Boko in the semis. Schneider also made the semis that year. Quevedo lost to Umboko in the first round, and then Umboko went on to make the semis, taking out Jovic in the third round. So again, another more players we know. So yeah, it was one of the players, and then Eala ends up taking out Umboko. So again, a lot of familiar names. Solana Sierra also in that tournament was there. Schneider, as I mentioned, was playing that event. Who else? What other players that have made it to... Oh, Andreeva, as I mentioned. And Eala, obviously. They played each other in the quarterfinals, and Eala got the win 6-love in the second. Preston, who I think had a good run at the start of the year. I know Gibson is different to Preston, but I think Preston had a good run at the start of the year, right? Hobart, maybe? So yeah, and Quevedo did play for America in the juniors. So she was an American as a junior, and now she's gone to Spain. So yeah. 15-0. Noskura isn't a qualifier playing in the second round. Yeah. Yep. 15-30. Chance for Quevedo to get the double break. Venus is looking up at the sky. It must be pretty windy out there if Venus is looking around. Thanks, Deb. 15-30. As the return goes into the forehand of Venus. Lob goes up from Venus and lands long. 15-40. Quevedo to get the double break here. Appreciate the information. No worries. So could be somebody that we watch a little bit more in the future. I mean, if she is a young player on the scene, getting a wild card here, could be somebody that we should be paying attention more to in the future. She's currently ranked 143, and even though some of her generation is doing well now, and she hasn't quite made it to that point yet, where she's top 100. You know, Boko and Andreeva obviously top 10, and Eala and Joint top 50. She'll get there. If she can see those players have done it, then she probably believes she can. And by beating Venus in the first round of a big tournament, even if it is 45-year-old Venus, it's still beating Venus Williams. It's still something memorable. If Quevedo does win today, she will go up to number 132, which will be close to her career high. Career high is 127. And if she does win the tournament, she will be in the top 30. And go down in history as a wild card to win a 1,000 that involves most of the top 10. All right, 30-40. Oh, you added Sinner and still have 4 coins? Nice. 400 from Venus. Goes the 400 Quevedo. Quevedo hits an inside-out winner. Too good. Quevedo's got the double break. 3-love. All right. Yep, you always have the win against Venus on your CV. Even just being able to play these players. I mean, getting to play Venus one time, getting to play Serena once, all of those things are such a big deal. Win or lose, Will Alcaraz play RG at this stage? Yes. He hasn't withdrawn. He's still playing Rome as well, so yes. And I'll let you know if he hasn't. If he's not going to be there, I'll let you know. I don't really understand why Venus keeps playing 8 matches lost in a row now. No. I don't think that's the point of her playing, though. I think the reason why Venus plays is because she can. I think that's the point, right? It's got nothing to do with her win-loss record. It's got nothing to do with her trying to get to a certain ranking or anything like that. It's just the fact that she can play. And I mean, I don't even know if it's fan service. Maybe it is a little bit of fan service too, of being like, well, I can play and I can get wild cards and the fan's still going to show up and see what's up. Yeah, and obviously, she's probably got that, I want to be the oldest player to play, in singles. I want to try and be the oldest player to win a match, all this kind of stuff. I don't think it's got anything to do with, even if she's on a 20-match losing streak, right? But we're not going to remember Venus for the end of her career anyway. We're going to remember her for the Wimbledon titles, the matches against Serena, right? We're going to remember her for so much more. That doesn't matter if she goes on a 20-match losing streak to end her career. The fact that she's in her 40s, mid-40s, still playing, that's the point, And the only people that are going to remember her for, the end of her career, her legacy comes down to that 20-match, the 8-match losing streak, they're not going to credit her for her wins anyway. So, that's why she's playing. And that's why we're watching her literally right now, because even if she loses 6-love, 6-love, the fact that we can still watch Venus Williams in 2026 is crazy. I love 15. And I mean, I would love to have seen Serena keep playing. Would have been great just to see Serena. The fact that we're getting somebody who has played for this long. I mean, imagine if Rafa or Roger was still playing. Even if they were losing, you'd still watch them, right? Still be watching them. 15 alt. As Quevedo serves again. I don't think he'll play Rome, but I think he'll play RG. I'll tell you what he might do, Alcaraz. He might not play Rome, but he might play RG, and then if he plays one match and he doesn't feel like he can play another one, he might actually withdraw. Kind of like Rafa in, 2015 or 14? Remember how Rafa, he went and played Roland Garros, but he withdrew after, 2 matches? Alcaraz might go, I'm going to play the French, but I might have to pull out if I don't feel good. He might test it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he might pull the pin on Rome, but then he'll probably show up to Roland Garros to give it a shot. Even if it means he just wins the first round and then goes, you know what? I don't feel good. I'm leaving. He did say he said he's done a lot of interviews the last couple of days. So he goes out by Venus at 30-0. In the last 24 hours, he's done a lot of interviews. And one of the quotes that I read was that he said that he would sacrifice this year's Roland Garros for a longer career. He's not bothered. He goes, if I have to pull out of this one to extend my career, I'll do it. So that's good thinking. I like that he's thinking that way. He's like, we'll take our time with this, right? And come back when I'm ready and not risk, playing this week and then getting absolutely wrecked and being out for a year. So that's good that he's thinking that way. That he's willing to, not not play a Grand Slam injured to recover and get ready for and come back stronger. So that's really, really smart. That's great to hear him say. All right, 30-40. As the return goes in the forehand of Quevedo. Backhand for Venus. As Quevedo goes to the forehand of Venus. Venus in the net. We get the deuce. Because most young players would try and push through it, right? They wouldn't be thinking long term. They'd be like, I want to play this week. I want to play next week. And just play through it. But the fact that he's thinking, if I sacrifice this year's French Open, but it adds time to my career, then I'll do it. And that's probably more his team around him saying that too, right? Giving him that advice. So that's a negative thing that he has to, if he had to pull out, but it's a positive that he's thinking long term, right? Deuce. As Quevedo serves a fault, second serve. Serve into the forehand of Venus. Good return. The forehand of Quevedo. It's in the nets. And it's advantage Venus to get one of the breaks back. As the backhand return goes back into Quevedo. Backhand now from Venus. Into the backhand of Quevedo. Venus backhand again to the backhand of Quevedo. They're just going backhand to backhand at the moment. Quevedo goes wide and Venus breaks back. All right. 3-1. Quevedo with a break. Venus gets a break back. All right. Venus gets one back. Venus cannot play at this 70%. She should stop playing in WTA. Disagree. 3-1. I feel like the people that complain about Venus playing, I mean, they miss the point why she's playing. But they probably never liked her anyway. There's probably a small percentage of Venus Williams fans that are like, oh man, I don't want to see her lose all the time. I'd rather her not play. But I think most people that want her to retire don't actually like her or didn't care for her anyway. Because most of the fans would just be, I mean, again, if you're a Federer or Nadal fan, you would take this. If they were still playing and losing, you would take that over them not playing at all. You would. Some of you wouldn't. Some of you'd be like, maybe not. I don't want to see Rafa lose all those matches. But still, most Rafa fans would be like, I want to see Rafa. I would see him. Even if he wasn't winning everything, I'd still want to see him. Am I related to Venus Williams? No, I'm actually related to Riley Opelka, but he's there. So that's, Riley Opelka's there. I'm related. Me and him are related, though. 30-15. We both have the same hat. Love to see Venus Serena play. Exactly. Despite the results, doesn't matter. Just a pleasure to see him, right? 30-15. I would have worked Rafa forever. Exactly. See? All right, 30-15. As that goes out by, double fault by Venus. 30-0. No, Nissimova pulled out yesterday. She ain't playing. She will not be playing. All right, 30-all. Is it a backhand rally? Into the forehand now of Venus. Backhand again from Quevedo. Is Venus with a forehand again. Goes into the forehand Quevedo on the stretch. Venus, forehand, goes in the net. She was just a little bit off with the bad bounce. And it's 30-40. Do I remember Joe Wilfried Tsonga? Of course. Need to stop giving her wild cards? Why? Why would you need to stop giving her wild cards? 30-40. I think people get confused what wild cards are for. Like, people don't understand what wild cards are. Like, why they're given, who they're given to. Like, I think people get confused. As we serve, into the forehand of Quevedo. Forehand from Venus, into the forehand of Quevedo. To the backhand of Venus. Quevedo with the forehand again. Into the backhand of Venus. Quevedo again at the backhand of Venus. Venus in the net. It's a double break again. 4-1. Venus has been playing tennis ever since I was born. Yeah, before you were born. Wow. She's always losing, no meaning of playing. All right, but what about all the people that are in Madrid that are Venus Williams fans? They get to see her. For the first time in 5 years, she's here. Spain hasn't got to see Venus Williams in the flesh for 5 years. You don't think that if you give her a wild card, you're at least giving them a chance to see her? Is that not a good enough reason for a wild card? For the fans? Also, it's Venus Williams. Like, if you give anyone else a wild card, they're probably not going to have the same. I mean, we wouldn't be watching them right now. I can tell you that much. Like, if this wasn't Venus, we're only here because of Venus right now. The only match we're watching today, and it's Venus. Like, if she wasn't playing, we wouldn't be here. So, I mean, the same thing goes for the people in the crowd. Like, they're there for Venus. Maybe they're there for Quevedo as well, being a young wild card from Spain. But, or maybe they're still there from Bados's match. But still, Venus. Again, I think people get confused that wild cards are supposed to go to, like, young players or something. I don't understand. Like, that's not true. I mean, by the way, the wild cards have gone to the young players. We're watching one of them right now. Quevedo is a 20-year-old Spanish player who was a really good junior. She got a wild card anyway, so it's not like Venus robbed her. And if you can pick someone in the qualifying that didn't get a wild card and Venus stole it, and you give me a good enough reason why, then maybe I could entertain it. But you couldn't pick one person in the qualies that would be a good replacement for Venus. Maybe Sloane Stephens, because she's a Grand Slam champion and a French Open finalist. Maybe you could say Sloane Stephens, because of her resume, right? She's a Grand Slam champion. Maybe. But other than that, I couldn't see one person in the qualities that I'm like, yeah, that person deserved it more. Well, it was 8 wild cards and Venus got one of them. It was 7 other wild cards. And a lot of young Spanish players got them anyway. Love 15. And how? But okay, let's play the game where we go to the ATP. What about Monfils? What about Wawrinka? Do they deserve wild cards? Because if they deserve wild cards, then why doesn't Venus? Because if they're getting wild cards, they're not top. They're not playing well. Like, they're not having great seasons. Like, Stan's having a decent year for his, he's winning more than Venus, but Monf isn't winning much. They're getting wild cards because of what they've done in their careers. Why doesn't Venus get one? Why couldn't Venus get one? As Venus hits a lovely drop shot winner, 15-30. Because they're retiring this year. But how do we know that Venus isn't? Just because she hasn't announced it yet. Like, she comes here for the first time in 5 years. Doesn't that feel like maybe she's thinking this might be the last time, and that's why they gave her a wild card? Because they might, she hasn't announced anything yet. Maybe that's why. But you also haven't given me a good reason why she doesn't get one. Who should get one then? Like, if not Venus, then who? If you're the tournament, you're Feli Lopez, you wish. If you were Feli Lopez or Muguruza, who are you giving the wild card to then? 15-30. Is it a backing out from Venus? Goes long. 30-0. You play tournament director, and you tell me who, if you take the wild card from Venus, who are you giving it to? Venus, a legend, why wouldn't she get a wild card? Exactly. I mean, look, we're talking to like 5% of the chat are saying she doesn't deserve it. 95 are going, shut up and call the match. 30. 30. By the way, is Carlos Suarez Navarro coaching Quevedo? Because she's in the box. Or is she watching Venus? No, because Opelka's watching Venus and he's in the other side of the court. All right, 30. 30. Serving to the back of Venus. Return goes into the front of Quevedo. Venus with the forehand. Again to the front of Quevedo on the stretch. Into the forehand of Venus. And Venus puts it away. Inside out winner. 30-40. By the way, I love the fact that most people are defending Venus being a wild card, and I love that. Usually I'm the one who has to defend the players. I love that chat's getting into it. You guys are making it really easy for me. Most of the wild cards lose in the first round. None of them have the audience that Venus does. She's Venus. That's enough. Exactly. All right. As that goes out on the return from Venus, we get to deuce. Oh, Suarez Navarro's the Fed Cup captain. Oh, okay. So she's scouting out the talent. All right, deuce. As Quevedo serves again. A fault, second serve. As the return goes back into Quevedo. Backing up from Venus up the line. Quevedo forehand into the front of Venus. As Quevedo gets a backhand up the line for a winner. Great shot. And it's advantage Quevedo for a 5-1 lead. You're fired as tournament director because Venus brings revenue. Exactly. Right. Quevedo for a 5-1 lead. Serving to the back of Venus, but the return is wide. Good body serve. 5-1. Young, talented players, comeback players, and former champions. Now, so you've just gone for the... No. That's not going to answer the question. I asked you who specifically would you give the wildcard to. You can't just be like, well, some young players. But who then? You can't just go, Venus, you don't get one. I'm giving it to somebody else. Like, you have to give me an answer. Like, you can't just answer like, that was a general answer. That's not... If you're playing tournament director and you're taking it off Venus, who are you giving to? Not what type of player. You got to give me a good answer. Or give an answer. Saying comeback players. By the way, comeback players, former champions. I'm sorry, who? Former champion? Hello? Comeback player? You just answered it. The only difference is that she's not young and talented because she's 45 years old. She's not young. That's the only difference. All right, 30 love. Venus. As we get a return from Quevedo. Venus backhand up the line. That's a good shot. Quevedo gets it with a slice. And then the forehand winner there from Venus, and it's 40 love. Again, you got to give me a name. You can't just say generally a comeback player from injury. Okay, who? Who have you got in your mind that's like not getting a wild card and has to play qualies instead, or not getting a chance? Like who? Like who are you giving the wild card to? Which player? Again, like one person is like two people are not agreeing. That's it. Everybody else is like Venus deserves one. What are we doing? Well, I mean, I could probably answer it, but I don't want to. 40 love. Because I think she deserves every wild card she ever gets. I have no problem with Venus getting wild cards. I have no problem if she get a wild card for the next 10 years to every tournament. I wouldn't care. I don't feel like anyone's getting robbed. 40-15. Serving to the backhand of Quevedo. 4-0 from Venus. In the net, 40-30. Tournament directors can't let a legend like Venus play qualies. But the thing is, Venus wouldn't be here if they said play qualies. She would have said, nope. She wouldn't have played. There's no way. If Feli Lopez or Garbin Muguruza was like, sorry, Venus, we don't have enough wild cards, but you can play qualies, she'd be like, why would I play qualies? You really want me to go to Madrid and play qualies? No chance. There's no shot that's happening. She'll go, I'm going to Rome. I'm going to go to Rome. 40-30. As Venus forehand goes long and Quevedo gets the deuce. There's no chance she's playing qualies. And nor should she. She shouldn't have to play qualies. All right, deuce. As the return goes in the net from Quevedo, and we get to advantage for Venus. Venus to take the game and make Quevedo serve for the set. As Venus serves, into the forehand of Quevedo, return the forehand back into Venus, from Quevedo into the back into Venus again. Quevedo with a forehand into the Venus forehand off the tape. Quevedo with a forehand again. Just goes wide. Venus holds. And it's 5-2. Quevedo's going to serve the set. 5-2. All right. It's been a long 5-2 though. 45 minutes. The first game of the match was a marathon. So yeah, it has been a long set. All right. Venus rocks, my favorite tennis player, and Capriati way back. Wildcards all day. Hey, that's it. That's it. No problem with her getting a wild card, but used to foster local talent. Well, I mean, they do that anyway. Like, we're literally watching a talent. There's two Spanish wild cards. Well, actually, the other one's not. She's 25, so she gets a chance. But I mean, we're literally watching Venus player for a fellow wildcard who's a young local player, right? And look, I'm going to do that guy's job for him. There was a player that actually got a wild card into the qualies. There was also a 24-year-old Spanish player who had to play qualies. Maybe you could have given her the wild card if you're going with Spain. I mean, there's a lot of players that are mid-20s, in the qualies. There's no real young Spanish wild card that you could have picked besides the one that we're watching right now. So again, if you're going to take it off Venus and give it to a young wild card, there's only one Spanish 20-year-old in the qualies, and she lost first round. She got a wild card into the qualies. So for her to go into the main draw as a wild card would have maybe they thought it was a stretch, so they gave her a wild card into the qualies. But again, I don't see any player in the qualies that would make sense as a wild card instead of Venus. 5-2. Quevedo serving for the set. People arguing about wildcards for local players can almost never name an actual local player. Exactly. They're like, oh, the local players. Who? I don't know, the Spanish players. Which ones? Yeah, the ones from Spain. 5-2. As the return goes into the forehand of Quevedo, backhand from Venus. Into the backhand of Quevedo. Venus backhand up the line. Quevedo with a forehand on the stretch. Goes long and it's love 15. Time to retire? No, I don't think I will yet. Not yet. I'm not yet. I'm not even in my prime yet. Love 15. Venus looking for that break. As the return goes into the backhand of Quevedo. For now from Venus, and Quevedo hits it wide on the backhand. It's love 30. Very windy out there, by the way. And the flowers, I think they're like, the petals from the flowers are like flying all around the courts. It is like a hurricane in there. What the hell? Love 30. As a backhand return. Goes in the net. 15-30. $15.30. As Quevedo serves again. As return goes out by Venus, 30-all. 30-all. Serve again. Is a fault, second serve. Serving to the backhand of Venus. Venus in the net. 40-30, set point. Do you think this is her last year? I do think this might be Venus's last year, but she's not going to be one of those players that... She's going to be like Serena did, right? Announce it at the end, not like announce it a year in advance like everybody does now. As the backhand goes out by Venus, and the first set goes to Quevedo. 6-2. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably Venus's last year. I hope I'm wrong, but if you look at what's been going on, right? So she got married, right? She got married. She's 45, which, not many players played this long. She's playing a lot of tournaments that she's never played before. She hasn't played for a while. Now, that could be because she's healthy. It might not just be because she wants to say goodbye to everybody. But also not announcing it at the start of the year like a lot of players do when they retire. They're like, this is my last year, bye. Not announcing it means she takes the pressure off. It means she doesn't have to play well. Because if she doesn't, if she announces her retirement and she just goes lose, 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 then people are going to be like freaking out. So she's probably not announcing anything because, she doesn't want that, you should be watching her anyway, right? Because it might be the last time. You never know. But then Serena going into the testing pool makes me think that she's going to come out of retirement to play doubles with Venus in maybe a farewell in the future. Now, that might be this year, might be next year, might be the year after. But that also kind of makes me think she's coming back for doubles with the Williams sisters doubles combo for one last time. So there's a lot of things indicating that maybe it might not be Venus's last year, but she's thinking about it maybe. It's like she's planning it. She's planning her retirement at some point this year, next year, again, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know, just a couple of things that you just kind of 3 or 4 things that are kind of all match up and you go, yeah, it kind of feels like if she did say, by the way, this is my last Wimbledon or last US Open, you'd go, you could see that coming, right? You could see it coming. All these things that are, okay, yeah. It wouldn't be a shock, but it also, it just, I don't know, it feels like it's all building up to that. Or it could just be like somebody said in the chat that she's just healthy for the first time and she wants to be able to play all these tournaments because she's healthy. She hasn't been able to play them lately. That might be, the reason why she's here, because she finally is healthy again. 6-2. By the way, super, super windy out there. The weather sucks. It's looking really, really grim. But if you think of Serena's retirement. Serena didn't say at the start of the year, hey, this is my final season, and then play all these tournaments. She literally said it at the start of Canada, right? She was like, by the way, I'm retiring in 4 weeks. And I was like, what? I mean, Federer did the same thing. He was like, by the way, in 2 weeks' time, I'm out of here. I'm not, after the Laver Cup, I'm gone. Federer did the same thing. So if that's the way that Serena went, you probably think that Venus is going to do something similar. If she is going to retire, she's probably going to be like, by the way, this is my last time. After this tournament, I'm done. And if you think about the Americans who do retire, not too many of them announce it that early. The greats, right? Sampras didn't even announce it until a year after. He won the US Open and then retired a year later, right? So he didn't do it before, he did after. I think Agassi did it during the US series. He didn't announce it at the start of the season and then play the US Open. He went to the US and he went, I'm done. I think Andy Roddick did the same. He announced it during the US Open, not at the start of the season. So it might just be an American thing where they they don't announce it like this is my final year. They go, this is my final US Open and I'm going to retire after this. Again, you know what I mean? So you got to think of it like that too. Maybe it's it's a similar approach to the great American greats. That's how they do these things, retire, right? As a return goes in the forehand of Venus, and Venus puts it away. And it's 30-15. Lovely forehand winner. As Venus serves again. As we get a forehand now from Venus into the forehand of Quevedo. Venus forehand to the backhand of Quevedo. As Venus hits the backhand up the line, Quevedo's there with a forehand in the backhand of Venus, and Venus overhits it 30-all. By the way, to the 4 people in chat that have said Venus should retire from tennis, are you not why do you not like her? Why are you here, by the way? Why are you watching the stream if you don't want to watch Venus? I think it's funnier that you're wasting like an hour of your life to watch a player that you don't like. And that seems silly to me. Like, you must like her a little bit if you care enough to sit around and watch her lose and enjoy it. 30 all. Yeah, you can. Hey, look, if you're going for Quevedo, that's great. But I feel like if you're going Venus needs to retire, you're probably not focusing on her opponent. You're not really getting into like you're not like supporting Quevedo. You kind of like support your anti-Venus, which is kind of weird. Backing up the line to the forehand of Quevedo, forehand out from Venus. Up the line to the backhand of Quevedo. Backhand of Venus again, the backhand of Quevedo. Venus backhand again. Quevedo again with the backhand of Venus. She goes up the line for a winner. Beautiful shot from Venus. 40-30. I hope she goes out with the Williams doubles extravaganza. Oh, yeah. That would be fun. That's how we get Serena back too, and that's what we want. The longer Venus plays, the more likely Serena comes back for her doubles. So if you're a Serena fan, the more Venus plays, the more time we get for her to entice Serena back into the game. At least for some doubles. That's what we want. As Venus just misses the forehand wide, and it's deuce. If Venus retired today, then there's no chance we're getting Serena. So that's not good for anybody. So as long as Venus keeps playing, she can maybe convince Serena to come back for a bit of a cameo appearance. And that's what we want. A Williams doubles would be amazing. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Backhand return from Quevedo goes long, and it's advantage Venus. Venus to take the first game of the second. Serving the backhand of Quevedo. Quevedo hits it wide, and Venus holds. And a bit of a shout from Venus as well. 1-love in the second. All right, 1-0. Would these complainers also whine if Federer decided to take a wild card to Heller or something? What's he done lately? Why does he deserve a wild card? Well, that's it. That's what it is, Tim, right? I mean, I've already made that, you don't hear people complaining about Monfils or Stan. And the justification for that is, but that's their final year. And it's like, well, how do we not know Venus is playing her final year? We don't know that. Just because she hasn't announced it, right? But you're right. If Rafa come back or if Federer come back, they'd be in the exact same situation of like, well, I'd hope those people were consistent with their questioning and going, well, they haven't done anything. What about the locals? Why Rafa? Why not Hodar, right? Or whoever, right? It wouldn't be that. It'd be like, yay, Rafa's back, or yay, Federer's back. Yeah, they wouldn't. Which sucks because you go, well, why disrespectful to such a great champion? That's not. I feel like if you've won 5 Grand Slams, there shouldn't be any questions why. You've got to, it's unquestionable, right? Anybody with 5 slams and has done as much as Venus has done for the game, it shouldn't even be questioned. Why are you getting a wild card? So why 8 slams? And? There's no question. Why are you questioning it? That's the question. Why are you bothered? Lob goes up from Quevedo, but it's missed, and it's 15-all. And Venus with a little bit of a shake of the fist there. 15-all. I would love to see Venus and Serena play the Olympics in 2028. It would be a full circle moment for their roots in LA. Oh, yeah, that would be epic. But I feel like 2 years away is a long time. But that would be great. That'd be awesome to see them both like playing a doubles and trying to win like another doubles gold. Plus they're playing at home. Like all of those things would be so fantastic. That'd be. I mean, if Serena and Venus would be that would be flag bearers, right? 100%, right? Co-flag bearers for the LA Olympics, surely. As that drop shot goes in the net from Quevedo and it's 15-30. Like, you give the flag to anybody else to hold the American flag on that stadium, you'd have to make it a pretty damn good reason not to be Venus or Serena. Like, they should be holding that flag together if they both are there. Like, right? Uh, 15-30, Venus making a little comeback here. As Quevedo serves a fault, second serve. What happened to Badosa? I don't know. She was playing okay in the second set, and then the third set she completely fell off. I don't know what happened in that final. I watched that match, though. It was an ugly match. I was watching... We were almost going to stream that match, but then I was like, I don't want to watch too many matches too early, but I'm glad we didn't watch that match because it was ugly. Like, there were so many errors. It was like almost quadruple the amount of errors to winners. It was a horrendous level, and it would have really been frustrating to watch. As Venus hits the backhand winner, she's going to break. Okay. Venus leads 2-love. All right. Venus with a backhand winner to get that break. 2-love. Venus, Venus, Venus. All right, 2-love Venus. As Venus serves again. Serve to the forehand of Quevedo, and then Venus in the net with the forehand. Love 15. Yeah, Nisimova pulled out of Madrid, yep. Unfortunately. Love 15. Is Mickelson draw a bit easier now that he's taken Draper's spot? Yeah, because he was going to play Sinner in the third round. So, yeah. Anything's better than playing Sinner in the third round. Yeah, because he was drawn for Sinner, right? He was going to play Sinner. And now he's avoiding Sinner and put in another section. So, yeah, definitely. Definitely a different, like a better draw for Mickelson. Plus, he also gets a bye in the first round, so automatic second round points or second round prize money, I think. So definitely a promotion. As we return now from Quevedo onto the forehand of Venus. Quevedo forehand again to the forehand of Venus. As Quevedo forehand goes again to the Venus forehand. And Venus puts it away. 15-0. $15-all. $15-all as Venus serves again. And Venus is having a laugh here because it's so windy. Even like the cameras are shaking. I mean, it's just... the wind is just kicking off. The wind has just kicked off. It's blowing all the flowers everywhere. I mean, there's just shit everywhere. There's just crap all over the floor. There's like petals everywhere. I mean, this weather is terrible. Anyways, 400 rally. As we're going to find out from Quevedo goes long. They've turned the lights on as well because it's got real sketchy weather as well. So the the sun's disappeared. No, Nisimova was not replaced. She was there was an upgrade. There was a player that got 33rd seed. I don't know who got the 33rd seed. Was it Sakkari? Yeah. Sakkari got promoted. So Sakkari took her spot as the 33rd seed. I think. I'm pretty sure. She was replaced, right? I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. Yeah. And then Frech took Alexandrova's spot as the 34th seed. So yeah. So that's what happened. All right, 30-all. There's a bit of serve again from Venus. Oh, that was Mukova. Oh, my bad. So wait. So Sakkari took Mukova's spot. Frech took... Wait, who took... So wait, hang on. Then who took... Oh, no, Frech took Anisimova's spot. Didn't she? Anyways, 30-all. Forehand goes into the forehand of Quevedo. But Quevedo hits it out. 40-30. Either way, they're in the same area, right? They're in the same section. So Sakkari took Alexandrova's spot. And then Frech took Anisimova. Frech took Anisimova. Okay, yeah. I know you sent it to me, but I just don't remember because it was yesterday. And I don't even remember what happened this morning. I was asleep. Anyways, 3-love Venus. Hey! Wild card earned. Or whatever. If she didn't do like 25 years or 30 years of, deserving a wild card, playing since she was 16, winning things at 16, 17, 18 years old and playing for, 30 years. If that didn't give her then at least a 3-love lead in the second. Validation? I don't know. By the way, they're asking the umpire if, the tournament director whether or not the roof can be closed because the weather is getting a bit crazy. They're asking Venus. And Venus is like, yeah, I think the tournament director's not, they're not going to shut the roof yet, are they? Or they're shutting the roof now? Venus didn't really say much, so. I have to make a whole new draw video. Nah, we'll just remember the different things that happened. If the roof is closed, Venus has more of a chance to win. Well, she's already winning, so I don't think open closed. I don't think it really matters. Oh yeah, Mukova pulled out before the draw came in. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Mukova pulled out before the draw, so that's why she wasn't. She was maybe replaced, but she wasn't. Yeah, that's right. You want to get Fran in your team? Yeah, I'm thinking that too. He's on my shortlist. It's either Fran or Ruud. Cerundolo's done well here before. I think my thinking is get Fran in for Tabilo, and then next week, if Alcaraz doesn't play next week, then get rid of Echeverri, get in Ruud. Because Ruud is going to be somebody who's going to play, if he's healthy, Rome, Geneva, Roland Garros. And that Geneva week is a huge week. Because I think Zverev's playing Hamburg, maybe. Sinner's not playing, so you're going to have to figure that out. But I think Ruud's playing Geneva. So you got to have one eye on that week. And plus Ruud on clay. I mean, it's a no-brainer. 15 love. But Cerundolo on clay as well, right? Why did Mukova pull out? I think she pulled out because of fatigue. I'm not sure. Or was it a shoulder? Let me check. Mukova pulled out because of fatigue. Oh, joint pulled out because of a lower back injury. I knew somebody pulled out because of a back. All right, 15 love as that goes out by Quevedo, and it's 15-0. All right, 15-0. There's a bit of fault, second serve. Second serve. Here's a double fault. No, 15-30. Chance for Venus for a double break in the second here. All right, 15-30. As Quevedo serves a fault, second serve. As the backhand from Venus goes long, and it's 30-0. Yeah, Feast is playing. Yeah. I swapped Fonseca for Fran because of the draw, and I have so many others in the top half. Yeah, fair enough. As the return goes in the back, and Quevedo hits that away for a winner, and it's 40-30. It'd be my luck that Feast pulls out because I've had a single run without one of my players bailing. I haven't had a single run without them bailing. I don't think Feast is going to withdraw. He didn't play Monte Carlo, and that was his rest. He has no reason to pull out. He didn't I don't think he will skip. He might skip next week, like Rome, but I don't think he skips Madrid. Backhand in the net by Venus, and Quevedo gets the game. It's 3-1. Yeah. There's no reason for him to skip. He wasn't injured. He didn't look tired when he won Barcelona. He looked fine. I wanted to keep Vachereau, but he's playing Feast in the second round, and Feast is playing too good. Are they playing in the second round? You mean third round, right? Alcaraz is not playing Madrid, no. 3-1 Venus. There's a bit of forehand from Venus, goes wide. And it's love 15. Eala's playing tomorrow. Love 15. Oh yeah, Feast Vachereau third round. All right, love 30. Love 30. Chance for Quevedo to get the break back. First serve is a fault. Do I ever sleep? No, not sometimes. I love 30. As we get a return now from Quevedo into the forehand of Venus. Forehand from Quevedo up the line. Venus backhand into the forehand of Quevedo. As Venus forehand again to the forehand of Quevedo. Venus backhand on the stretch. Quevedo forehand cross court is a winner. Love 40. Yeah, so the Wild, so tomorrow, I have no idea who Eala is playing at this point because we don't know who the qualifiers are. So they haven't been placed yet. And same with Chen. I have no idea. Same with Pliskova, I think Pliskova is playing tomorrow too. Qualifying is still going, so they're still got to wait for. There's a couple still matches still going. So, but I can give you some names that it might be. She might play Stevens. She might play Volley Nets. She might play Potapova. She might play Pavlyuchenkova. She might even play Parks. So yeah, but there's no it hasn't been they haven't been placed yet. So we'll find out in probably in a couple hours. Anyways, break back, Quevedo. Quevedo gets the break back, but Eala is playing tomorrow. So is I think Pliskova is playing tomorrow too. Pretty sure she's playing. I saw her on the list somewhere. I have Tsitsipas Berrettini in my alternatives, and I think of using the chip. I'm thinking of doing that too. Because I got Berrettini and Monfils. And you got to use that chip sometime, and I think this week might be the week. Just because it feels like anybody could make a run. It's one of those tournaments where somebody like that could make a run. Tsitsipas could get to the quarters. Berrettini could get to the quarters, right? I mean, FAA is not a clay guy, but I feel like he's healthy and due for a good run. Yeah, I think FAA in Madrid is a clay guy. I mean, he made the final 2 years ago. He probably should have won Madrid 2 years ago. So FAA for sure is a good pick. I'd pick him myself if I could. If Carlos doesn't play Roland Garros, Sasha will have a chance to break his slam curse. Hey, we were talking about that earlier, and thank you. I said that same thing. I agree with you. Yay! Somebody agrees. Berrettini is done. No, he's not. He's playing this week. All right, Quevedo breaks back. 3-2 Venus. 1 hour and 20 minutes. By the way, this has been a very long match. We've played 13 games and it's been nearly an hour and a half. I mean, we're not even 2 sets down. It's almost been an hour and a half. Can Berrettini beat Shelton though? I mean, that's a tough match. Probably not, right? But then again, is Shelton tired? It depends on how Berrettini gets through the first match too, because if he plays 3 hours, Berrettini's probably not beating Shelton. Shelton's a fine matchup though. I can't believe Badosa's out. Yeah, that was a tough one. I watched that match and it was a tough watch. Was not a pretty match. 15 love. As Quevedo serves again. Backhand rally. Venus gets it back with her backhand into the forehand of Quevedo as Venus backhand cross court. Quevedo gets it back with the backhand. Quevedo wins a point though. Venus in the net. 30 love. 30 love. By the way, one in the chat if you've got an ATP fantasy team. And if so, we are going to be discussing it. So feel free to talk about it. Because we've got a lot of... I feel like the more that... I mean, after the French Open, I think so many people are going to not stop playing it, which gives us all a chance to win. Because remember, even if you're not winning the competition after the French, you still could win the swing. Like if you do well on the grass, like your team does well on grass, you could win the swing and get a prize. So it goes out by Venus, and it's 3-0. Quevedo levels. A lot of you in the... Okay, good. How does the alternate card work? Do you get points for as well as the 6 other... Yeah. So the alternates on the bench, their scores count towards. So, like, let's say you've got Berrettini and he makes it to the 4th round, you'll get the points he gets. They'll be included. Whereas usually alternates are a backup in case of withdrawals. But if they don't... If the alternates do well and they're not on your team, like they're not on the field, then they're not going to do. Then they don't count. So it means all 8 players count. I think they're closing the roof, by the way. The prize is merch and tickets to any ATP tournament and ATP finals. Yeah, pretty good prizes. All right, so there's a little bit of weather around, so they're just going to close the roof. Oh, the ball kit is broken in the umbrella. I know what it is, Chad. It's nothing funnier than an umbrella going inside out. This reminds me of Mary Poppins. Yeah, it's shit weather. So they're closing the roof. Luckily on clay, we don't have to worry about... Venus has got the inside out umbrella. They got to fix it. They got 4 people fixing this umbrella. Come on now. They're broken, this umbrella. Get Venus a new umbrella. And this guy's going to hold it. There we go. All right. They're shutting the roof. I'm most improved. I went from 14,000 to 8,000. Wow, really? Nice. I just want to get in the top 1,000. I want to know how many people are playing this thing, though, because I don't know how many people are playing. Is it out of 100,000? Is it out of 50,000? I don't know. I feel like Sinner and Raducanu will win these tournament. Maybe. Did anyone watch the Laureus Awards? I did not. But I saw that... Did Alcaraz win Player of the Year? Or Athlete of the Year or something? I didn't... It wasn't broadcast in Australia, so I have no idea. Well, I know that I was 14,000. So, yeah. So, there's obviously more... I think the lowest... I think I saw, like, 35,000. I think I saw somebody at 35,000. So, yeah. Roof is shutting. The price is... Yeah, merch and that, yeah. Three stadiums have roofs here. Yep. Alcaraz, Sabalenka both won. Oh, both won the Athletes of the Year. That's awesome. Great for tennis. Well, both players are standing in the rain, so they're not bothered. And the courts aren't covered, so that's going to be good. We'll just get back into it. So what other changes have you guys made to your teams, if any? I'm a little surprised that not more people have gotten Sinner yet. Like, Sinner's still... I mean, Fonseca is the most picked player, but I guess because it hasn't updated yet. And Zverev is the 9th most picked player. That's interesting. I wonder if people have gone with the strategy of get rid of Zverev, free up some cash, and then just, like, spread it out amongst, like, Rublev and all these informed guys instead of just putting it all on Zverev, maybe. Maybe that's why he's not picked as much. Too expensive, maybe? Yeah, maybe that's why. I mean, if you got Zverev and you've got a trade, maybe get rid of him. But, yeah. I mean, if you wipe your team clean, I was going to scrap the whole team and then and then use the cap space from Zverev to give to get me a lot of other good players. But I'm going to use that next week, I think. I'm going to reset my team for Rome when the entry list is out for Geneva, so I actually know who's playing. The Dairy out and Rude in. Alcaraz out and Sinner in for me. Okay. No changes since I made my team. Oh, okay. So you're that confident. Blocked and Hodar are my alternates. Oh, nice. If they're your alternates, I'd be using my alternate chip. Because Blocked and Hodar could go on a run. We saw Hodar do that last week. And why wouldn't you put the alternate chip on him? Added Sinner, FAA, Casper, Lehechka, and Fonzie Feast. And then Blocked and Hodar on my alternates. Yeah. I used it last week. Oh, no. Oh, that would have been a great time to use it this week if you had all those players. Lehechka is a nice move. I think he could have a run and maybe a clay final. Well, he's had a run in Madrid before. And he's in great form. So maybe it's not a bad idea to get him. I'm wondering if I get rid of Darderi. Yeah, I mean, I nearly got Darderi. And then I didn't last week and it worked out okay. I wouldn't, like, and I'm not going to pick Darderi now. He just hasn't done enough for me lately. But he's, I don't know, maybe give him one more week. Has he got a good draw, though? What's his draw, Darderi? If he's got a bad draw, then think about switching him round. He's in the weird section where there's like a big opportunity. God, I'm looking at Rude's draw and I'm thinking, shit, maybe I should get Rude. Because Cerundolo's got to play FAA and Darderi. Whereas Rude's got to play Fekina and Bublik. And Fekina's coming back from not playing much. And Bublik on clay. I mean, Bublik might beat him if he gets that far. But Rude? Maybe I should get Rude. Cerundolo might fall to Felix. Yeah, I'm tossing up between Cerundolo and Rude. I'm waiting till the last minute just in case Rude decides that he's not going to play, which would be really devastating to my team if I picked him and then he pulled out. That calf injury, man. But I've been watching his practices this week and he hasn't looked bothered. He hasn't looked bothered though. That's the hard part. It's like, shit. If he was having compromised practices and his leg was wrapped up like a mummy, then I'd be like, yeah, keep away from Rude. But I watched him and I'm like, he's playing he's hitting pretty well, and he doesn't look bothered. Like his calf wasn't strapped when I saw it. So it's like, well, is he bad? Is he that sore? Maybe he's not as sore as we think he is. I don't know. And if he is healthy, he probably goes on a run. I don't know. But then Bublik has feet on clay. Well, yeah, Bublik could beat him on clay as well, you know. Maybe swap Darderi for Cerundolo. Yeah, you could. I mean, you do that and then Darderi beats Cerundolo and you're like, oh shit, I should have picked. You're betting on who's going to win the third round. I've got Sinner, Shelton, Francesco, Vachereau, Musetti, Tsitsipas, and Berrettini Bouze on the bench. Okay. Decent. Berrettini, Shelton play each other, right? Is it heavy rain? Nah, it's not that bad. They're going to close the roof and then keep going. When is your team's meeting, Cam? No, they're currently in meetings at the moment. We're just consulting whether or not we pick Rude or Cerundolo. Who else could I pick, though? Cerundolo and Ruud are so cheap. That's another reason why I'm looking at them specifically, is because if they go up in value, it's all worth it. There's no one else except for Tsitsipas. I do have a half an eye on Tsitsipas, but I don't want to put him on the field because I can't afford anybody. If I get rid of Tabilo, I can afford a lot of players. But if I get rid of Etcheverry, God, I tell you, if I could get rid of it, if Etcheverry was one more coin, I would get rid of Etcheverry and I'd bring in Musetti. But I don't have. I'm one coin short of picking Musetti. So that's why I'm not picking Musetti. I have to get rid of Zverev to get Musetti, and I don't want to do that yet. Not this week. Maybe next week. Pick Cerundolo. So no one is going for Zverev. Well, I've got Zverev, and I'm going to keep Zverev. I'm keeping him, because how do you kick a guy out that has been consistently good? There's no reason why I shouldn't keep Zverev. Besides his high price point. But he's getting results. He's getting results. So I'm like, if a guy's been performing well, why should I trade him? You know? All right, we're back. I couldn't afford Zverev and I wanted him. He's consistent. I mean, look, I mean, I had Alcaraz and Sinner at the start, so that's why I was able to get him. I just traded Alcaraz out for Zverev. All right, forehand goes wide by Quevedo. Venus, 15 love. Roof is shut. We're indoors. And the courts are... See, this is why I love the clay tennis too. If it rains, it can rain heavy. And we don't have any delays. So, we just have to wait for the roof. I also have Zverev. And Zverev also pulls out of anything rarely. He doesn't pull out, yeah. Yeah, I just don't have... I can't justify kicking Zverev out of my team. Especially with his draw. He's got a decent draw. He should make the semis. There's been a lovely drop shot from Quevedo, and it's 15-0. Yesterday, I know I was I've got to get rid of Zverev. I've got to get Musetti. I've got to get rid of Zverev. But I was panicking because I thought, well, if I miss out on Musetti, I'm going to be pissed. But I'm also why would I... yeah, Zverev might not be able to go up in price. But he's probably not going to go down in price either. And if he doesn't perform well this week, I can just kick him out for Rome and get somebody else anyway. This week he's been a good team player. He made the quarterfinals in Monte Carlo, which I didn't have him for, but he made the semifinals in Monte Carlo. Made the semifinals last week, even though I wanted him to win the title. He still made the semis, which is decent. And he made the semis 2 times before that. So why would you get rid of him? He's performing well. He's consistently making the semis. Why would you get rid of him? And with a decent draw, he should make the semis again. You know? And if not Zverev, who makes the semis then? If not Zverev, then who, right? Kaboli? Maybe. Shapo? Menchik? Hashanov? Medvedev? Kaboli's the only other guy that maybe makes the semis instead. And as long as Kecmanovic loses and doesn't have to play Zverev, I'll be more comfortable with that. Because Kecmanovic is the only guy that I'm looking at going, yeah, that guy's going to be tough. But if Zverev can avoid him, Zverev should make the quarters very least. If he makes the quarters, then that's enough. I'm fine. I'm happy with that. Anyways, Venus is in the net 15-40. We're getting a little bit of trouble here for Venus now. I think Menchik is not even 100% fit. Well, that's the thing. If he's not 100% fit, then Zverev shouldn't have to worry. I also consider Atman, but he has a difficult draw. Yeah, well, that's it, yeah. Yeah, Zverev did beat Kecmanovic last few weeks, but it was very close. So that's why I'm a little scared about Kecmanovic, because he's a problem for Zverev. He's been a problem, but Zverev has won the matches. He won the match last week. As Venus's forehand goes to the backhand of Quevedo. Backhand from Venus into the slice of Quevedo. But Quevedo hits it long, and it's 30-40. Thoughts on Medvedev? Yeah, I wouldn't be picking Medvedev for clay, unless he won Madrid, and then you can go, okay, maybe like he hasn't even won a game on clay, like literally a service game. As the backhand goes wide by Quevedo, and it's deuce. Didn't play last week, got bageled by Berrettini. No chance I'm picking Medvedev. Even if he won Madrid, I wouldn't. If Medvedev won Madrid, I'd be like, nobody would have him anyway, because nobody has him. Wouldn't have Medvedev. Like, there's no shot. You shouldn't even be considering Medvedev this week. Unless you want to go way off the wall and you know something we don't. Like that Zverev's going to withdraw or something. Medvedev's going to have a clear path to the semis. No shot. All right, deuce. And there's a bit of serve again from Venus. Into the forehand of Quevedo. Return goes up the line to the backhand of Venus. Quevedo back in on the stretch. Venus backing up the line. Quevedo with a lob. Venus with a smash. Quevedo gets it back with a slice. Venus half volley pickup. Quevedo sliced down the line. Venus volleys across court. Quevedo is too quick though. And slices it for a winner. Advantage Quevedo. Good rally. Advantage Quevedo to take the lead. All right. I'm having Zverev, Sinner, Fons, Fils, Monfils blocked, and 2 Argentines. Okay. Your team sounds like my team. We have the same team. If the 2 Argentines are Cerundolo and Echeverry, then we have the same team. Except that I have Berrettini got blocked. We almost have the same team if that's the case. Unless you have Baez. Advantage Quevedo as we get a return now from Quevedo in the backhand of Venus. Quevedo forehand. Again to the backhand of Venus. Quevedo backhand up the line. Venus the forehand cross court in the net. And there's the break. 4 games in a row from the Spanish wildcard. All right, 4-3. Quevedo leads. I feel like Zverev's court is pretty easy and not the best clay players. Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I agree. But I'm also scared for that fact. I was scared. I've kind of committed to Zverev now because I've already made the Sinner trade. So if I do the swing switch, I'm just kind of like I'm just wasting it at this point. Yeah, all I'm waiting for is Cerundolo or Rude. But again, I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, like Rude's been practicing without any leg strapping or anything to do with the leg. So if Rude's healthy, why wouldn't you pick him? I'm pretty sure I saw some practice sessions with him. Well, I did see some practice sessions with him. I literally did. Now, he was practicing at the Rafa Academy. That was like a week ago. I might just have to flip a coin. Because like Cerundolo has to play FAA and Darderi, so a little bit of a tougher draw, but Rude with a question mark injury-wise. But Cerundolo's also done well in Madrid consistently. It's not easy being a general manager. Yeah, Rude did win last year, but before that, he didn't play very well in Madrid. Last year makes his stats a little bit a bit inflated. Like, he won last year, yes. But, like, before that, not very good. I think he might have made the semis or the quarterfinals. But other than that, his Madrid history in Madrid has not been good. That's why last year's win was kind of out of nowhere. Even though we know how good he is on clay, but it's like he's been much better in the other clay events. He's 13-6, and most of those 13 were last year. The year before that, he lost in the fourth round of FAA. The year before that, he had lost 3 in a row. He made the semis in 21, lost to Berrettini, and then he lost to Lajovic first round, Arnaldi first round, and then Felix fourth round. So, yeah, his record in Madrid before last year wasn't as good as you'd think. I mean, comparing that to Rome, right? In Rome, he's 18-6. And consistently, like, quarterfinals, semifinals. Like, he's made multiple semifinals. So, whereas Cerundolo, the last couple of years, he made the semis last year and he lost to Draper, and then he made the quarters the year before. So Cerundolo is a much... I just feel like he might be slightly more... like, slightly better on this clay court. Plus, he doesn't have any injury, like, questions, right? We don't expect Cerundolo to come in limping. He's 7-4 in Madrid, which is not much better than Ruud, but he's only played 3 times, so... And he made the quarterfinals, and he lost in the second round the first time he played, and then he made quarterfinals, lost to Fritz, beat Zverev and Tommy Paul in 24, and then last year he beat Zverev and Menchik, and then lost to Ruud. Not Draper, Ruud. I mean, that... I don't know. 40-15. Quevedo to take a 5-3 lead. As the return goes out by Venus, Quevedo gets 5 games in a row. It's 5-3. By the way, I think Draper is down to 46 in the live rankings at the moment. Ouch, yeah. Sucks that he's got another injury. My pick is Cerundolo. Cerundolo is dangerous. Hope Ruud has a decent run here. Also, another thing that I'm thinking as well is Ruud has the pressure of a semi-final to defend. Plus, he's also probably going to be a little bit nervous in the first couple of rounds because of the leg. Like, he might come out and be like a little bit like tentative, which is scary. It scares me a little bit. Like, if Ruud comes out in the second round and he's a little bit cautious because he's not sure if his leg's okay, plus he's got to defend the title, which is also a lot of pressure, he might lose. And because Madrid's not... if it was in Rome, I'd be like, yeah, pick him, right? But, I don't know. I'm just trying to convince myself not to pick him. Let's be honest. I'm just trying to convince myself to pick Cerundolo and just press the save button and take it. 15 love. Yeah, like, there's a lot of reasons. I'm trying to figure out, is there more reasons to pick Ruud or pick against Ruud than there is Cerundolo? I mean, I'd love to have both of them and just, like, you know, hedge my bet, but I don't want to do that. Or do I just do that and get rid of Echeverri and take a 50-point penalty? Maybe that's what I do. I hedge my bets and I pick both and I don't feel bad about myself. And get rid of Echeverri and take a 50-point... Where's Echeverri in the draw, though? Echeverri's got Shelton, Vachereau, Feast. You know what? I might actually end up doing that. Just take the 50-point penalty. And get Ruud and Cerundolo, which is what I want. And then Echeverri, pretend like I never had him and hope he doesn't do well. He's doing well, though, Echeverri. It's hard to pick against him. Echeverri's been good, though. I don't know, man. I can't get rid of Feast or Fonseca. I can't bring myself to do it. I can't bring myself to get rid of them. You know what I could do, though? You know what I could do? I could get rid of Tabilo and Monfils. Oh, no, I couldn't. I don't have enough money. Cancel that. I thought I had more coins. Damn it. I was going to say, if I get rid of Monfils and upgrade to Rude, I'm still a coin short. Bummer. Anyways, 40-15. Venus serving to stay in the match. I did take the penalty at my team. Fair enough. Rude is 26 in the live rankings. He really does need to have a good run here. Well, yeah, pressure's on, right? All right, Venus with a serve on the tee. And Quevedo hits it wide. Venus holds. All right, Quevedo is going to serve for this match. And a big win for her early career. Now, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to avoid getting Rude. I'm going to keep Echeverry because Echeverry, he deserves respect. And if Echeverry loses, if he doesn't perform this week, he's out next week. And Rude will come in next week. That's my thinking. Echeverry, he deserves another chance. He's done nothing wrong. Just like Zverev. He's done nothing wrong. Why would we get rid of Zverev? He's been consistent. So if Fils and Vachereau play in the round of 32, doesn't make sense to have both, right? Having both would not... I mean, if you can avoid having both, you probably should, yeah. Like, if you're going to pick both, like if you're going to trade both of them in, that's probably not a good idea. You got to pick one or the other and hope you made the right choice. And I don't know who the right choice would be because... I mean, Fils just won a tournament, but is he going to be able to keep it going? Vachereau had a week off, but he's in good form. Like it's an interesting choice. But did Vachereau play well in Monte Carlo because he was playing at home? Can he play in Madrid like that? Courts are a little quicker. Is Fils on a... I mean, Fils has been on a tear. So... I mean, if you have both, you can put one on the bench... I guess, but I mean, it's friendly fire, right? Anyways, love 15. Venus trying to get back on this, serve. As a back in return goes out by Venus 15-0. Many things to consider, yeah. I just really need Monfils and Berrettini to win their first rounds. If they win their first rounds, I'll feel much better about everything. All right, first serve's a fault. I feel if Monfils, Berrettini win and Kecmanovic goes down, then I'll feel like, okay, everything's okay. Because that means Zverev has a slightly better road. And my two alternates have gotten off to a start, which means they will get me at least 50 points. All right. 30-15. Quevedo hits a lovely forehand cross-court winner. Serve out wide the backhand of Venus, but it's a let. By the way, Mike, you got here way too late. We already had the conversation of why Venus deserves to be here and why, we've already had that conversation, mate. So you're way too late. We've all moved on. You should have been here at the start of the stream and then you would have actually been part of the conversation instead of coming in late and being like, I don't understand why she's playing. We literally talked about this for like 30 minutes. As that goes out by Venus, 40-15. You're just going to have to rewind the stream and listen to what we were talking about. And why her playing is a good thing for all of us. All right. Match points Quevedo, which this is a huge, huge win for her. Not just in, winning in Spain, but also beating Venus Williams, one of the greatest players of the last 25 years. Has got a 30 years, really. Backhand now Venus goes long, and Quevedo celebrates with two hands in the air. She gets it done. Venus, I tell you, in that second set, put on a bit of a good show. She's up 3-love. The roof got shut. Quevedo gets the win, though. And she is going to play Baptiste in the second round. Good young junior player. I mean, came up with Mboko, Andreeva, Eala, Joint. Like, she's in that generation. She was a good junior. As we spoke about earlier in the stream, we talked about how she was top 10 junior player. So maybe it's a little bit of a later bloomer. She was American-born, American junior. Moved to Spain or moved to Spanish representation in 2024. And now gets a win in Spain. Got a wild card to this tournament. And she's going to play Baptiste in the second round. So there you go. So that's, she might be the next. Maybe she'll be the newcomer of the year. Maybe she'll be the rising star of this season. We'll keep an eye on her. But a good win. Another wasted wild card. I mean, some people, why so negative? I'm going to say to you the same thing I said to everybody else who said Venus doesn't deserve it. Then who? Give me a name and a reason why somebody else should have got a wild card. Go on. It's the difference between here and like on the internet when you go to Twitter and you say, wasted wild card, and then you go run away. Here, I'm going to respond to you and say why. Who should have got a wild card then? Not Venus. Who else? Who should have got a wild card? Caroline. Who should have got a wild card? And if you say young Spanish player, well, Quevedo got one. She literally got one. She also got one. So who should have got one? I'm not letting people get away with this Venus disrespect. All right. You got to give me a good name that should have got one. Take it from Venus, give it to who? And then give me a good enough answer, I'll be like, okay. Yeah. Quevedo's the same age as, Eala and Valentova and all those young players that are coming up. I mean, Andreeva, she literally played Mboko as well in the juniors. Yeah. Cam going at it. No, it just is boring to just like it feels like so many people say it. So many people do it to these players, to these legends, and just come in and go, "Oh, why are we wasting wild cards on Venus Williams?" Like that, like people don't understand what wild cards are for. Like Venus is robbing players. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm going to start asking, okay. And by the way, that guy that came in earlier and was like, young, talented players should get wild cards. You didn't even give me a name. Like, it's just so lazy. Like, if you're gonna come in here and try and downgrade Venus Williams, right? And talk about how like she doesn't deserve one for a 30-year career, which is, has done so much for the game of tennis, then you got to give me a good enough name who could have been playing today instead. I want to hear it. I don't want to hear this like Venus doesn't deserve it. Okay, then who does? I don't know, but not her. Okay, then you just don't like Venus. It's got nothing to do with fairness. You just don't like her. And that's okay. You don't have to like everybody, but don't pretend your frustrations for Venus. Don't wrap it up in like a pretend like, oh, justice for young players. Like, don't pretend. Just be like, I don't like Venus Williams. Don't be like, oh, give someone else a wild card. It's not fair. No, you just don't like her, and that's okay. But don't pretend like you're doing like some righteous justice for the young players. Okay, name them then. Who? Give me a name. Yeah, it's just shit. Like, come on. Come on now. If an 8-time Grand Slam champion doesn't deserve one, then who the hell does? Who does then? If Venus Williams doesn't deserve a wild card, then who the hell does? See, somebody actually gave a good answer. Potapova deserved a wild card because she played a 500 final last week. And now she has to play the qualies. That is a good answer. Thank you. I still don't agree, but yes. At least if I was arguing against myself, I would have said Potapova too. Because I was looking at the qualies and I'm going, if somebody says to me, Potapova deserved a wild card, I would have said, yeah, you got a point. Do I agree? No, I think Venus still deserves a wild card because Potapova against Quevedo wouldn't have been we wouldn't have watched that match in the first place, and not as many people would have cared about that match as Venus. Doesn't matter if Venus loses, people care. They still watch her. But that's a good answer, finally. Yes, I agree that what Potapova did last week, or was it last week or the week before? No, it was in Linz, right? She made the final Linz. Yeah, good answer. That's a good answer. If she got a wild card, if Venus didn't get one, yeah, Potapova deserved one. But then you could also look at the other wild cards and go, okay, well, Montgomery's got one. Could you have given Montgomery's wild card to Potapova? What about Kazantseva, the player from Andorra? But I guess Andorra is like in around Spain, so maybe you give it. What about Arango though, the Colombian player? Could you have given her wild card to Potapova instead? So I feel like you could still, even though that's a good answer, I still think taking one off Venus. I mean, you could. There's other players there that are not necessarily young Spanish players. 25. Arango's been good though too, right? I mean, she has also had a pretty good run lately. So again, but Potapova is like a good answer. Like that's all I'm asking. I still don't agree, but I still think Venus. You're going to find it very hard to convince me that Venus doesn't deserve a wildcard. But still, yeah. That's actually, I thank you for giving me an answer. Instead of most people coming in and being like, she doesn't deserve it. Give it to somebody else. Who? I don't know. But not her. And it's like, at least somebody gave me an answer. Didn't Vekic lose to John? I mean, look, you could have said Vekic, but also Vekic lately. It's hard to justify a wild card for somebody who's not been playing lately. Venus no longer warrants wildcards. All right, Kevin. Why? Especially at premier events. Okay. Why not? Because she's losing? Okay. But again, if not her, then who? And again, I just feel like a lot of people don't understand what a wild card is for. It's not for young people all the time. It's not an opportunity for young players all the time. It's not all the wild cards go to the young players. The only time that the wild cards go to local young players is Wimbledon. Wimbledon's the only tournament. And by the way, Wimbledon will give Venus a wild card because it's Venus, right? She's the only player that won't be British who gets a wild card. But the only place is Wimbledon, that they give out British wild cards to all the British players to give them a chance. No one else gets a chance. No other young players get a chance from other countries there. That's just how they do it. But wild cards are not just for young... By the way, you couldn't even give all the wild cards to the Spanish players anyway because there's not enough of them. There's not 8 young Spanish players that you could give wild cards to. There's not enough of them. But also, Kevin, so does Monfils deserve a wild card to this event? And does Stan? because they're sort of in the same boat as Venus. They're just a little bit younger. But like, if you're taking it from Venus, are you taking it from Le Monf? Because Monfils, I mean, Stan had a good run in Australia, but he didn't do great. Monfils hasn't been, he hasn't been doing much, has he? So are you going to take it from them as well? Who did I choose my fantasy? I haven't chosen anyone yet. I'm waiting for tomorrow's. I'm waiting till the last minute. I got Sinner instead of. I got rid of Alcaraz and got Sinner. I think Stan and Monfils have an average better than Venus lately. Okay. By the way, they're opening the roof again for the next match. Okay. I can see that. I know somebody said, well, it's their last season, but we don't know if this is Venus's last season or not. She hasn't played this tournament for 5 years. And now she randomly plays it? What if this was Venus's last season? Would it warrant the wild card? If it was her last hurrah? But she hasn't announced it yet? You know, like... Again, I don't think any Venus Williams fan is actually saying that she should not get a wild. But it's no fan is saying it. And actually, most people are not saying it. There's only like a small group of people that are saying that she doesn't deserve a wild card. And look, there's not that many players that you could name, right? That you could give a wild card to and be like for what they've done. Doesn't matter what they've done in the last 6 months. What they've done over their careers. There's not many players you could pick and go, well, it doesn't matter how she's been doing in the last 2 years. 3 years, it's like what she's done in her career. Venus forever will get wild cards, right? There's not many players that have that. Get that. In my opinion, like she's one of very few players that could just give wild cards because it's her. Like, it doesn't matter what she's ranked, doesn't matter what her results have been. It's like, it's Venus Williams. Like, it's a no-brainer. If you're a tournament director, you're looking at who's available and you go on Venus, you give Venus one. You got to give Venus one. Like, yeah, Venus Williams gets one. Next. Like, it's a no-brainer. I'm arguing for both sides of the fence. No, that's fine, Eric. I get it. Look, I understand where some of the people are coming from about not giving her one and giving someone else one. I don't agree with those people, but it's just the people that annoy me the most are the ones that come in and just don't have they just come out and go, she shouldn't get one, but I have no idea who should. I just don't want her to get one. And you're like, why? Like, give me a reason and we can talk. But someone says, I don't want her to get one. No, it's not good enough. Like, she should retire. I don't want her. She's wasting wild cards. But who is she stealing wild cards from? And do you understand the wild card situation? It's not for young players. It's for the tournament. And Venus is better for the tournament. To promote your tournament with Venus Williams playing is going to help your tournament more. Literally, we wouldn't be watching anything else today if she wasn't playing. Like, that's the only match we're watching today. We're watching this today because of Venus. That's it. Right? If Venus doesn't play today, we don't if it was like Potapova versus Quevedo, we're not watching that. Check Venus 10 in a row. The record losses is 29 in a row. Let her get to that number I wanted. Okay, Trishan. But I know why you're getting pissy, because you're so annoyed because everybody was coming at Raducanu and now you're trying to blame Venus. Now I know what you're doing. You had to deal with so much shit when everybody was saying, why does Raducanu get wild cards? She doesn't deserve it, blah, blah, blah. And now you're angry and you're going back at Venus. Don't just I know that it was unfair what people were saying about Raducanu getting free passes. I agree. And I defended her like crazy. But don't blame that on Venus. Don't pass it on, you know. No justification needed. Venus has earned it. Yeah. Venus can play forever for all I care. She can get wildcards for the rest of the time, and if she wants to play, she'll play. And we'll watch her. Chet doesn't understand it's a business after all. No money, no tennis. Yeah. I mean, again, like 95% of people in the chat know what's up. 5% of people coming in and just like blah, 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 leave. Like they're the ones, right? Blame it on the tournament directors. Well, yeah, blame them. It's not Venus. Venus asks for a wild card, or they ask her if she wants one, and she says yes. It's not like she doesn't, like, it's the tournament directors. She doesn't nominate, she doesn't get it. Like, she doesn't rock up and just say, thanks for the wild card, and they go, oh, are you playing? Okay. Like, it's, the tournament directors are the ones that you should be annoyed at because they're the ones that make the choices. They picked the people, right? But you shouldn't be annoyed because if you were in their position, you'd pick Venus too. What if you're Muguruza, you're sitting back going, so who do we have available to give a wild card to? Well, we could give one to Venus Williams. Yeah, but she hasn't been good lately, has she? Yeah, but she's kind of won a lot of tournaments and she's kind of a big name. Yeah, but she hasn't really done anything lately, has she? Yeah, but she's done things for 30 years. She's won like a lot of tournaments. She's a big name. A lot of people know who she is. Yeah, but she hasn't won a match for a while. Like, there's no way you're a tournament director thinking like that. Come on. There's no shot. No shot. You're looking at Venus and going, ooh, she wants to play my event? All right, she hasn't played here for 5 years. That's kind of a big deal. She's coming back on clay for the first time in 5 years? Here? Venus Williams wants to come here? Give her a wild card. Like, there's no way you're saying no to her. Come on. And if you are, then you're probably going to get fired and somebody else is going to take your spot anyway because they're like, wait, they denied Venus of a wild card? Yeah, we're gonna get somebody else in here. Like, you're not going to be a very good tournament director if you're not giving her a wild card. Come on now. Like, Venus is on the phone, you're answering the call and he's saying yes. Yes. You can get a wild card. I love Venus, but I don't see her winning a match. I'll tell you though, she was up 3-love in the second set there. And the thing with Venus, right? If we're going to talk serious for a second, her game doesn't revolve around speed or really around fitness. It revolves around power. And she's tall enough to keep serving big. She was hitting some really nice shots there. Now, the second that she got moved around, that's when you could see that, okay, she can't, she couldn't get to some of the wider shots and all that kind of stuff. She couldn't, rally with Quevedo, running to the ball. But I tell you, if she's standing there and just hitting the ball and she's serving good, I mean, she won a match in Washington last year out of nowhere. Nobody expected anything, and then she wins a match in Washington. Clay's probably not the best surface for the game that she's got, especially at this age. But, I mean, you put her on a grass court, you put her on a hard court, fast hard court. Why couldn't she get a win? Like, she literally got a win last year on a hard court, right? And she was up 3-love in the second, hitting some good shots. It's just that she gave the break back and the momentum switched again, and she just couldn't recover that. But again, I think that it's different to like Andy Murray, right? Andy Murray is probably the best example of somebody who you could just tell that he was just a little bit slower than he was, and he really relied on that speed. And he really even Rafa. Watching Rafa, it's like he just couldn't get to those shots that he used to get to. And it was hard to watch. Whereas Venus, she was never known for her defense. I mean, she was a little bit, but not like, that wasn't her, she wasn't like, Simone Halep, right? Or like Kerber. It was all about the serve. It was all about the big ground strokes, right? And she still got those. She can still hit the ball. She can still smack the shit out of the ball, right? So I don't think there's any. It's just like John Isner or Karlovic playing until they were in their 40s, right? You go, well, yeah, you're not going to lose that height. It's just if she gets moved around, then it becomes a problem. But you still got to get the ball back. She's still going to hit the ball hard. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like she is going to get a win. Like, she's not going to go, depending on her draw, right? She might get a bad draw and she might have to play seeds and whatever. But, I mean, who has she played lately? Let me check. Has she, besides today? Today was definitely an opportunity for a win, but maybe the surface and you know, the style of player she played was a little bit off. She played Jones in Miami. She played Parry in Indian Wells, and it was a close 3-setter. She lost 6-1 in the third, but she was 1-set all. Tomanovic in Austin was straight sets. Danilovic in Australia was 3 sets. Maria in Hobart was straight sets. She got a set off Lynette in Auckland. She played Mukova last year, first round US Open. She got a set off her and then lost in 3. Monero in straights in Cincy. She won against Stearns in Washington. And that was her first win in 2 years. She beat Kudermetova Cincinnati back in 23, but then she didn't play much. She only played 2 matches in 2024 and lost both. One was to Schneider. Yeah, I mean, looking at her, she plays for 2 tournaments and then she disappears for 6 months and comes back, and it's really sporadic over the last couple of years. I don't know. I reckon she gets. If she was losing in straight sets the entire time, I'd be like, oh man. But she's played 3 3-setters. She's played a close straight sets against Jones in Miami. I mean, she was up a break in the second today. If she was getting 6-1, 6-love or 6-1, 6-2 all the time, you'd be like, oh, she's not even competitive. But she's competitive. Put her on the grass and we'll see what happens. Venus has nothing to prove. Yeah. Venus was known for best defense for offense. Okay. But I'm talking about she can get away with not having to play defensively, if that makes sense. She definitely had a great defense for somebody who was over 6 foot, for sure. Usually, we know that most tall players can't run, right? And short players are very quick, but they don't have the power, right? That's sort of the difference maker, right? But with Venus, she doesn't need to be quick now. She doesn't need to be good defensively now because she still has that power. She can still use those weapons. The defense is just not as good as it was. But I'll tell you, on grass, with that serve against the right player, she can get a win. For sure. Love Venus. She's a legend. Yeah. Is it public knowledge who applies for wildcards? No. Andy was hard to watch, really, really hard to watch. Yeah. I mean, Leighton was the same for me. Watching Leighton at the end of his career, watching him not be able to run as much is She did nearly beat Danilovic in Australia, yeah. On grass, she could cause an upset, yeah. When are the qualies going to be placed? When they're finished. How many more qualies matches are left? Because there was a rain delay, so there's a couple of... They're still playing the rest of the qualies. Probably in the next, couple hours. Yeah, so there's still... So, Potapova's playing right now. Stevens is playing right now. Gelfi is playing right now. And I think that's it. So there's only 3 more matches left. No, Parks hasn't even started yet. So when the Parks match ends, which is supposed to start soon, when Alicia Park's match finishes, they'll place to the qualies. They could do it before, but it'll probably be at the end of the day. I need to email you. I asked you a question. Tennis Talk is giving me great outlet. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, send me an email. There's a link down below. Oh, Park's up 4-1? Then why is it not updating the score? Hang on. Where is it showing the score? Maybe the rain delay screwed with the scores. Hang on. Let me... Oh, yeah, Parks is up 4-1. My bad. So, yeah, so Parks, Potapova, Stevens, and Gelfi are all still playing. So, but Parks is the only one that's... She's the last match to start. So, she's 4-1 up in the first, but her match is behind by a set to everybody else. So, yeah. So, probably when Parks is end, or when Potapova. They're the ones that are the furthest behind. When those matches are done, then we'll start. We'll get the... So, it might be in the next hour. And I'm sure they're already ready to like populate the draw and throw it out there because tomorrow they've got some of those players playing qualies, so they need to tell everybody who's playing tomorrow. Yeah, Parks is playing. She's up 4-1. It's some places it's showing it and some places it's not, but she's definitely playing. Why did Potapova have to play qualies? Wouldn't a ranking of 50 get you in the direct draw? So the reason why she didn't get to play main draw is because 6 weeks ago, when the entry list came out, she was outside the top, 80, right? So remember, when you're not on the entry list, that's what your ranking is 6 weeks before the tournament is what your entry list ranking is. So it doesn't matter if you get into the top 30 or top 50 before when the tournament starts. It's what your ranking was 6 weeks ago that makes the difference. So now that she's in the top, she'll be in, automatically in French Open. I think Rome maybe should be okay, but yeah, it's based on her ranking from 6 weeks ago, not top 50 now. That's why I think it was Vondrousova, right? Was it No, it was Boiseau. Remember Boiseau last year at the French? She made the semis, and then she had to play qualies at Wimbledon, even though she was like top 100 and everything. But because Wimbledon's entry list was before the French, she didn't get direct entry. She lost like second round qualies or something, right? And she should have played first round Wimbledon because she was in the top 100, and that's just unlucky. So yeah, it's based on your ranking 6 weeks prior, unless you get a wild card, right? And and that. Now, Chad, I said I was gatekeeping. Probably some of you already know. I don't want to tell you I don't want to talk about this YouTube channel's name because then they're gonna. It's very informative, and I don't want to. I want to give it. Okay, I'll give it away. So there's a channel on YouTube that I've been watching a lot, and I really like the content. If you're into ATP fantasy, you definitely want to watch it as well because it's very informative and very detailed. So it actually gives you a lot of answers, it'll give you a lot of help. There's a channel called Expected Aces, but I'm only telling you guys because I don't want this to blow, and I don't want everybody to get on board, and then we all have the same teams. But yeah, go check them out because they do really. I'm really enjoying the content over there. I think he's got about 100 subs. They only started the channel I think a couple of weeks ago, but go check it out. Expected Aces because if you want some help with the ATP fantasy, because yeah, does like a super detailed like breakdown of every single like price changes and all this stuff. It's really, really good. It's really good. So yeah, I've been gatekeeping because the last couple of weeks I've been like, oh, should I talk about? Should I mention it? But a lot. He does great stuff. I can't remember the guy. I forgot his name. I've got to. I'm so sorry if he's watching. I don't know if he's watching, but yeah. But yeah, go check him out because definitely help. Like a lot of like he does breakdowns. Like the last couple of weeks, been doing breakdowns of like price changes and who to pick and who not to pick and giving a lot of help. And it's really really good. Like a lot of work goes into it. It's really helpful. It's been helping me making some of my decisions, my team. So. Yeah, go check it out. But also, if you're watching the replay, don't check it out because I don't want you to copy my teams. And it's a secret. It's a secret. It's a secret. But yeah, he puts in heaps of work into his videos, so I respect that as well. So go check it out. Expected Aces is the channel. If you're into the AW fantasy game and you want to get some more info about like what to do and how to do it, because I'm not sure his background, but definitely obviously knows a lot about tennis. But I think he's got a background in, from what I could hear from one of the videos, I think it's more like he does a lot of fantasy like football, so he kind of understands how the games work, not just from a who to pick, but also like how it works. So it's really helpful. So if you want some help, again, go check him out. I like his channel, but I don't like his picks. Hey, look, you don't have to like the picks, but I mean, I say stuff all the time, and people don't think I have good picks either. But for somebody for somebody who he puts in a lot of it just gives a lot of like information. So, like, you might not pick the same players, but you can see, like, there's just heaps of, like, research behind even the players not to pick. So it's good to watch. Especially if you're into this ATP fantasy. It's a great source, a great resource. So hopefully give you some help with the teams. I can't believe I'm currently ranked in the top 10 in the fantasy now. Wait, what's your team name? Wait, in the top 10 of my league or in the general? What's your team name? Who did I choose? Well, I got rid of Alcaraz and I got Zverev. Sorry, I got rid of Alcaraz and I got Sinner. And then I'm tossing up between Ruud and Cerundolo. I haven't made a pick yet. I'm going to make it last minute. Lotus Peak. You're in the top 10. You're in the top 10? Holy shit. Are you? Lotus Peak. You're 8. Oh my God. Oh, you had Feast as captain. Oh my God. That was a move. You had Feast and you didn't have Alcaraz. You had Alcaraz, but you didn't put him in the bonus ball. That is a move. Wow, and you even had Bublik on the pitch, and he didn't even do well, and you still dominated. What did you have the week before though? Because you used your bonus. Oh, okay. So you used your triple bonus ball on Sinner first week. You had Alcaraz as well. Okay. Oh man, you had Pirikar, but Pirikar got replaced by Tabilo, so that worked. And then last week you used your switch, so you made 5 changes and you got rid of. You kept Alcaraz and got rid of everybody else. And you got Feast in. I mean, your big bonus ball on both champions is huge. Hell. Hey, have you got the same team? What have you got this week? Did you get rid of Alcaraz, got Sinner, right? You can see that? Yeah, I can see what your team was week 1 and 2. Well, you can see what my team is too. I can't see what your team is this week until the deadline, but I can see what you were. It tells you. It tells you your team week 1 and week 2. Yeah, I can see it. You can see mine. You can see everybody's. I use already 2 alts. I mean, look, if you got rid of Sinner, Alcaraz got Sinner in, and you kept everybody. I mean, Bublik's a tough one, but Mahatchinori as an alternate, it's not bad. I think even if you just did one trade, you should be all right. Not a bad team without. If you get rid of Alcaraz, get Sinner. Oh, you got Hubie? What? So you got rid of? Who'd you get rid of? I think he wins against Musetti. Okay. So wait, who'd you get rid of for Hurkacz then? So if you got rid of Alcaraz, got Sinner, and then you got rid of somebody for Hurkacz, who'd you get rid of for Hurkacz? Did you get rid of Norrie for Hurkacz? It's not bad, to be honest. Hubie is iffy. He just got a new coach though. I picked Musetti. He's playing well. I was going to pick Musetti, but I'm going to keep Zverev because Zverev's playing Hamburg apparently as well, which is before the French. So Zverev could be playing this week, next week, and the week after, and Roland Garros. Because a lot of people are going to forget that week before the French. Everyone's going to pick for Rome and then go, wait, all my players are not playing next week before Roland Garros. But Zverev is. At least at this stage. He might change his mind. You got rid of Mahach and Norrie. You got rid of Mahach and Norrie and you got rid of Alcaraz as well? So you took a 50-point penalty, right? Are you minus 50 to start? Is that what happened? My team is no match point. Yeah, we'll get to your team in a second. So you made 3 trades and yeah, okay. You got Hubie and who? Who else? You got rid of Hurkacz and who? I just want to get top 1,000. That's what I want to get. Top 1,000. I find it really fascinating people that use the triple bounce on week 1. Because I think a lot of the people that are up the top of the league, or the top of the standings, used it on week 1. But after the French, that's when it's going to even out. Because I think a lot of, all those people that use it on week 1 have a massive head start. Because, especially if you put it on Sinner, right? So he got triple points. So those people got an extra 1,000 points ahead of everybody else. But that's going to even out if the triple bounce at the French goes the way, that's going to be. So I think a lot of the teams that I'm seeing at the very top all use that on week 1. But is that going to keep them up there after the French? Because if you pick the winner of the French Open with a triple bounce, that's going to blow those people out of the water. So I'm a little bit right now, it's every time I look at the team, I'm like, oh, you've used the triple bounce week 1. That's giving you the extra 1,000. So that's how you're ahead. What if, what happens when the other people use that for the French? How's that going to even it out? You got to pick the winner of the French, though. I mean, you can't just go and use it on somebody else. But if you pick the winner of the French, what's going to happen to all the people that use that triple bounce already? Are they going to drop? Is it going to, what's the top 10 going to look like in 4 weeks, right? Or 6 weeks. So, yeah. Oh, you bought in Rude. So you got Rude, Hurkacz, and Sinner for Alcaraz, Mahach, and Norrie. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. So match points. You've got Fonseca as bonus ball last week. Not bad. You had Feast, Caboli, Cerundolo. Okay. You made 3 trades, but you didn't get rid of Sinner, which was a bold move, but it might actually work out. Oh, you got rid of Rublev, though. Ouch. That stinks. You got rid of Rublev. You got rid of Rublev. So wait, who'd you get rid of? You got rid of Rublev, Echeverry, and Rude. No. You got rid of Menchik, Echeverry. No, you kept Echeverry. You got rid of Menchik. Who'd you get rid of? Rublev, Menchik, and Rude. I mean, you've got a pretty good team still. Like, you've got Sinner, Lehechka, Kaboli, Feast, Cerundolo, Bublik, Echeverry, Fonseca. I mean, you don't even have to make a trade this week. I'll tell you what I'd be doing. I'd be obviously put Sinner bonus ball, and then you'd put Bublik on the... Maybe Echeverry, Bublik on the bench, and then use the alternate. Like, that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't even be making a trade this week. I still have swing switch. Yeah, I wouldn't even be making a trade. No, what? Wait, I put Rude in. Wait, you got rid of Rude and you brought him back. Who'd you get him back? If I was you, you can't reverse it. If I was you, I wouldn't be using any trades this week. There's no point in getting Rude back. Or Rude, there's no point. Because everybody on your team is playing. And then you use the alternates, and you'd get a shit ton of points. Plus, you'd get the trades will go over to next week. And then bring in... That's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be using trades. I wouldn't be wasting any trades this week. You got a crazy team. Like, if I had all those players... I have some of those players. But I had to trade them in. Because I don't even think you have any friendly fire. I think everyone's sort of spread out too. So you don't even have to worry about like... Oh, no, you have to worry about Lehechka and Feast, right? They could play. No. That's not right. No, Feast is playing some... No, is a feature Echeverry maybe. I mean, your team's fine. I wouldn't have made any trades. Put Bublik and Feast on the bench. Okay. I had Echeverry and swapped him out for Musetti and then switched Kaboli for Rude. And then put Tien for instead of Lehechka. No. You shouldn't have done that. You can't reverse your trades though, can you? When you save your team, it's stuck. You can't go backwards. I don't think. I wouldn't have done any of that. I would have just gone. So wait, you got a minus 50 again. Yeah, see, I would have just. Nah, I wouldn't have done any of that. You had a really good team. I would have just used the alternate and then just put Sinner at bonus ball, and then everybody would have counted because Madrid's going to be might be random. And you don't really need to make a trade. Like maybe get Musetti for Bublik, I guess, but that's probably about it. Everybody else is fine. They'll be worn out. Okay. Yeah, you got to put. I mean, Sinner at bonus ball is no brainer, but I mean, yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't have made one trade. I would have been pretty happy with that selection. See, whereas my team, I've got. I mean, my team is in comparison. I mean, is rough. I wish I had that. I wish I had those players to play with. Anyways, keep Rude. What if? No, he bought in Rude. I don't know what to do with my team. Gene, what's your team looking like? What's your team's name anyway? Is it the Genius team? Is that what it is? Oh, you already used the alternates bonus. Ah, oh, bummer. That's a bugger. I think a lot of people in week one didn't realize you couldn't reuse them until the end of the clay season. So you must have got rid of Alcaraz, got Sinner in, right? What other trades? So you get rid of Alcaraz, you bring in Sinner, right? You've got $21. You got heaps of money. And then you've got Kaboli, Vachereau, Feast, Fonseca, Tabilo, Cilic, Hodar. Now, there's a little friendly fire with Vachereau, Feast could play, right? Fonseca, Hodar could play. I mean, look at. So you get rid of Alcaraz, you get Sinner, and you still got 17 to play. You could get rid of you could get rid of Tabilo or Cilic and then get could you get Zverev? No. You could get I feel like people are sleeping on FAA. FAA could be a really good pick. I can't afford him, but I feel like FAA could be a big... If you can afford him, FAA could be a game changer. Not many people are picking FAA, and he's got a decent draw. Or Musetti. We were talking about it yesterday, right? What trade should I make? I didn't make any trades yet. All right, well, definitely get rid of Alcaraz and bring in Sinner. Do that. So what I've done, so when you press save, it saves it, but it doesn't mean you can't make another trade. So what I did was I traded out Alcaraz, I bought in Sinner, and then I saved. I can't go back on that. But I can go back in and make another trade. So you can do that. So like, do that. Don't do too many. Just make that one trade and then save and then think about it for the next 12 hours. Because in 12 hours or 15 hours you got left. Like I'm like, well, I had to get rid of Sinner. Oh, sorry, Alcaraz. But I can't go back on that because why would I? And then like contemplate whether or not you do the other stuff. Because then if you forget to do the other stuff, at least you've made that trade. And like the rest of your team can be whatever. But like, yeah, definitely do that trade and then save and then figure out the rest. Otherwise you won't want to miss the deadline. FA is a sleeper. Yeah, FAA, Musetti, like those are two guys that I'm looking at. I can't afford them, but those two guys, I mean, even Rublev, but he's kind of got a little bit of a tough draw. You don't want to play Sinner, do you? But like FAA, I don't see any good reason not to pick him. If I could pick him, I would. If I could afford him, I would. I can't afford him, but like this week he's made a final before. He's healthy. He can play on clay. I mean, he's got Dadiri or Cerundolo in the fourth round, and then maybe Rude if Rude's healthy. But if Cerundolo or Dadiri, I mean, Darderi's not playing well. Cerundolo would be a tough one in the fourth round, but FA probably gets through that. Rude, we don't know if he's 100%. So there's a semi-final there. Then he plays Zverev. I mean, there's no reason not to pick Felix if you can afford him, right? But if you can't afford him, then Musetti, we were talking about this yesterday, right? Musetti's bound to go on a run eventually. But is it this week or is it in Rome at home? I don't know. That's the real question, right? Felix will let you down. Yeah, but I mean, you got to let that's where I am with Zverev, right? It's like, okay, common sense says that he's probably not going to keep making the semis. But until he burns me, I can't not pick him. And I feel like with Felix, you do the same thing. You're like, well, if FAA's got a good draw and there's no reason not to, I can get him, and there's no reason why you shouldn't get him, because the only reason why is like he hasn't played that well lately. I mean, he hasn't done amazing things lately. But it's also like, okay, pick him and then like he loses and you go, okay, well and then just get rid of him next week. But like, you got to give him an opportunity to play well, like to try and, you know what I mean? That's where I am with Zverev. I'm like, look, made the semifinals 4 tournaments in a row. Chances are he's due for a loss. And he's probably a little tired. But he's also made 4 semis in a row, so I can't get rid of him. And then look, if he loses third round and burns me this week, I'll get rid of him. But same with Felix. Like, if you bring him in, he's 24 coins, so he's a little expensive, but you bring him in, he's got a decent draw, he's made the final here before, he's not injured, he's healthy, he can play on clay. If he does burn you this week, then you can get rid of him. Just rage quit next week. Rage swap. But until that happens, it's like, I mean, this is what I always weigh up, right? I'm always like, okay, am I going to be more pissed off if I say I should get him, but I'm not going to get him, and then he goes on a run? Or if I pick him and he loses, what's going to make me more upset? Am I going to be more angry that I missed out on an opportunity that he made a run? Or am I going to be more pissed off that I gave him a chance and he failed me? I think for a start, I'd be more like, if I could afford him, I would. Because if he goes on a run, I'll feel much better than if he loses and I went, well, I made the choice. But if I don't pick him and I see him make the final, and I'm thinking, I could have had him in my team, I'm probably going to be more pissed at that. But that's just how I manage the team. If I pick him and he loses, I'm more willing to be like, all right, my bad, than to watch him go on a run and he's not in my team. That would hurt way more. Every time he keeps winning, I'll be like, oh, why did I pick him? Because I had this problem with Vachereau at the start of the tournament, right? I was like, I should pick him. And then I went, nah, I'm not going to pick Vachereau in Monte Carlo. I could have picked him. And then he went on a run, and every time he kept winning, I was just like, I could have had him in my team. If I had him in my team and he lost, I would have gone, oh, well, at least I gave him a chance and he didn't, whatever. So I know from experience, I'd be way more annoyed if I could pick somebody and I didn't, and then they went on a run. But that's just how I cope. Like I'm like, if I pick Cerundolo and Rude goes on a run, I'll be annoyed. But if I pick Rude and Cerundolo goes on a run, I'll be annoyed. So either way, I'm gonna flip a coin. I'm gonna just have to flip a coin. Last minute, I'll be like, all right, 3 minutes till the deadline. Rude heads, Cerundolo tails. I'm picking this guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to flip a coin. It's all a gamble, yeah, and it's all fun, right? It's all just silly, unless you're like top 10 and you have to try and win the prizes. It's not easy though. Zverev is way more consistent lately. FAA on clay, come on. But FAA Madrid is okay. FAA flops at big events. He made the final here once. I'm not saying pick him instead of Zverev. I'm saying if you have an opportunity to get FAA, right? So like, I think Gene was saying he might have enough coin if he gets in Alcaraz. So gets in Sinner. Hang on, let me see so how much is Cilic worth? You might not have enough coin though. Oh. No, because you need to get okay. So let me do the mental math. So you get rid of you lose 4 coins from. You're only going to have 21 coins to play with, and that's not going to be enough. You're 3 short. You'd have to get rid of Vachereau, Fils, Fonseca, or Caboli, and I wouldn't get rid of any of those guys. I wouldn't get. So if you can't afford Felix, I wouldn't get rid of Fonseca, Fils, Caboli, or Vachereau for. I mean, Vachereau, it's hard. He just made a semi, but like I wouldn't try and get Felix unless I had enough money. I wouldn't try and like make lose a player that's playing well just to get him. But if you can afford him, he definitely should be considered. Yeah, don't get rid of Zverev though for him. I was going to get. I mean, Musetti's a better choice, right? If you can afford Musetti, he's 10 coins cheaper. Get rid of Cilic, get rid of Sinner, Alcaraz for Sinner, and then get rid of either Cilic or Tabilo for Musetti. That's an upgrade. Even if Musetti doesn't beat Hurkacz in the second round, which would be an upset. Musetti long term, if he's healthy, and also you can use Musetti on grass. So keeping Musetti long term is definitely worth it. Plus, he can also the reason why I wanted to get Musetti so bad is because in 3 weeks he could be where Felix is right now and be 10 coins more. So he could be I feel like he's so undervalued. 14 coins is so cheap. He's cheaper than Medvedev. And Medvedev on clay, or even Demonor right now. And Fritz. He is so low value. Low, he's so cheap. Not low value, he's a great player. So cheap. But I can't fit him in the team yet. So I'm just hoping that he doesn't go up in price for next week when I pick him up. He's over. You think Musetti's overpriced? Or are you saying FAA's overpriced? Yeah, no one's picking Medvedev. Not yet. Maybe on the hard courts later. Your picks are motivated by FOMO. Yeah. But I think you're hearing half of what I'm saying. I didn't say... I'm not... I think you're saying things and reading them late. I don't see why you wouldn't pick Musetti though. I feel like Musetti's been all right. He just hasn't. He's had two tough draws. He lost to Vachereau and Fils. And that's just unlucky. Is he going to lose to Musetti? Is he going to lose to Lehechka? Sorry, is he going to lose to Hurkacz or Lehechka? Maybe. But if he doesn't, he makes the quarters and he plays Fils or Vachereau or Echeverry or Shelton or Berrettini, and then it's like, well, quarterfinals is worth it, I think. He's worth it. FAA is pricey, but if you have the coin, he's got a decent draw. He'd be worth it. I wouldn't be keeping FAA for like the whole clay season if you needed to get back Alcaraz, trade him off. But Musetti's 100% a better choice. Yeah, but that's the thing. If you can't afford FAA, like I said, don't get rid of Fonseca to try and afford FAA. It's not worth doing that, right? But if you have the extra coin, it's like, well, consider Felix for Madrid. Yeah, Alcaraz for Sinner trade, and then just like for the next 12 hours, figure it out. By the way, like I said, there's a channel called Expected Aces that does ATP fantasy breakdowns. Go check them out because you'll get some. Maybe you'll get a bit of. I'm giving away a secret now, but go check it out. Qualies are being placed. Have they? Have they now? Have they finished? No, they haven't. How have the qualies been placed? Or are you asking me? You need to remove Vachereau for Musetti? No, you can get Musetti and Vachereau. Have both. Gene, I was going to say, if you didn't use your alternate chip, I would have gotten Musetti, put Vachereau on the bench, and then used the alternate chip anyway. But you already used it, so. For the ATP, they've been placed. How? The qualifiers haven't even finished. Have they? I think the qualies haven't even... Don't the qualies finish tomorrow for the men? What's going on? Oh, no, the qualies finished today. Okay. So the men's qualies have been placed. The women's aren't finished yet. Yeah, the men did finish just now. The ladies are still going. And the question everybody's asking me is, who's Eala playing? All right, so this actually might help us with some Prismic Berrettini. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Prismic was injured the last time I saw. Kipson is a lucky loser against Tsitsipas. Okay. Faria versus Hurkacz, winner plays Musetti. Hurkacz might lose that. Faria was playing pretty well in the qualies. Prismic had a crazy first quali match, and then he won pretty easily today. Budkov Kia, one in love. Whew. Oh, Faria got a retirement win today. Oh, and he had a tough first. Okay, maybe not. Maybe Hurkacz is happy with that. Basilashvili, but Kipson got a second chance. Okay. Anyways, geez, I've been here way longer than I thought. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad we got to watch Venus. She put on a good performance in that second set. Just couldn't keep that break. But, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for day 2, which is going to be pretty full. I've got a couple of matches to watch tomorrow. Not too many crazy matches, but... Pardon me. But we do have a few matches tomorrow worth worth watching. Oh, pardon me. We have no idea who Eala is playing until tomorrow. Oh. But yeah, getting all emotional. Sorry, Chad, I have to leave. Bloody allergies again. But yeah, make sure you lock your teams in on time tomorrow because the deadline's in like 12 hours. So don't sleep on it. Make your trades, do all that shit. And don't miss the deadline. Eala has minus 25. What do you mean minus 25? Poisson and Potapova are losing, yeah. I've got Poisson on the screen right now. So yeah, we're still waiting for another, 2 more qualies to finish. And then we'll know who's playing who. Oh, sorry, no, all 4 qualies. There's 4 qualifiers left. No, sorry, 3 qualifiers left. Potapova's into a third. Kalinina, Stevens, and Parks are all trying to finish their matches, and then we'll go from there. But we'll be back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow for the second day of Madrid. And there's a lot of players in action. Berrettini's playing tomorrow. Eala's playing tomorrow. I think Pliskova's playing tomorrow. So, yeah, plenty of matches worth watching tomorrow. But Venus, unfortunately, doesn't get the fairy tale win on the clay return. Loses to Quevedo in straights. 6-2, 6-4. But I think is she playing doubles? Either way, she might play Rome. So we might watch it next week as well. But I'll see you guys tomorrow.